You have your mics on. You all on the internet? Can you hear me? Okay.
Can
We're gonna go through kind of the preliminary part of the agenda, and then we'll switch to the demo. So you don't feel like you have to be in on camera just yet. But we'll cue you up when the time comes. Okay. Is that one recording over there? Okay. All right. The time is now 6:31. We are in session. Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas will be held on Thursday, March 26, 2026 at 6:30 PM at City Hall, 22870 Priest Road, Sandy Oaks, Texas, where a quorum of the City Council will be present. All agenda items are subject to action. The City Council will also hold a town hall during the regular meeting to allow for questions and public comments on potential tax increase proposed for 2026 to support the 26-27 fiscal year budget. Join the meeting at the link found in the agenda, and you can enter the meeting ID as presented. The public will be permitted to offer public comments in person, telephonically, or by audio as provided by the agenda and as permitted by the presiding officer during the meeting by signing up with the city secretary at least 15 minutes in advance of the meeting, if providing comments in person, and at least 2 hours in advance of the meeting by emailing the city secretary or by calling 210-607-0834 if speaking telephonically or by audio. An audio recording of the meeting will be made available to the public in accordance with the Texas Public Information Act upon written requests. Madam Secretary, may I have a quorum call, please?
Alderman Krittner,
Here.
Alderman Tremblay,
Here.
Alderman McNeil,
Here.
Alderwoman Walker,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Madero,
Here.
interim city administrator, Dr. Johnson.
Here.
City Attorney Ortiz is here,
Here.
and if we have a quorum.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
honor to Texas flag, pledge allegiance to thee, Texas.
One state,
Under God, one and indivisible.
All right, a town hall moderated by the mayor and the city administrator to allow for questions and public comment on a potential tax increase for the 26 tax year to support the 26-27 fiscal year budget. This is not a public hearing on the proposed tax rate or budget that council will hold prior to consideration and adoption of the 2026 tax rate and 26-27 fiscal year budget. The time is now 6:34. We are in our town hall. Is there any questions by the council at this point, or any follow-up questions from last meeting that we can, or at least I can document for a next meeting? I know we have some guests on the line. I just want to make it evident that we are in a town hall setting right now, begin at 6:34 to address a potential tax increase. If anybody has joined for the purpose of that discussion, now's your opportunity. All right, because there are no questions, there are no people in attendance, nor questions from the online. We will then adjourn the town hall at 6:35 PM. All right. Citizens to be heard. People wishing to speak may sign up with the city secretary in the time and manner as indicated above. Is there anybody signed up to speak?
The forest, we don't think so.
Okay. At this time, there is nobody's to be heard, so we will move on to mayor and administrator announcements and updates. At this time. All right, so my first update is, I have it here. Well, happy baseball season, everybody. We have officially kicked off the MLB season, so should be a fun time going forward. My next announcement is the proclamation declaring April 2026 as Fair Housing Month. Proclamation by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas of April Fair Housing Month. Whereas Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended prohibits discrimination in housing and declares it a national policy to provide within constitutional limits for fair housing in the United States. And whereas the principle of fair housing is not only national law and national policy, but a fundamental human concept and entitlement for all Americans. And whereas the National Fair Housing Law during the month of April provides an opportunity for all Americans to recognize that complete success in the goal of equal housing opportunity can only be accomplished with the help and cooperation of all Americans. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, do proclaim April is Fair Housing Month in the City of Sandy Oaks and do hereby urge all citizens of this locality to become aware of and support the Fair Housing Law, proclaimed by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks on the 26th day of March 2026. Right. The next announcement is by our administrator.
Yeah, it's just a reminder for everyone to come out to join us for our Easter celebration. It'll be this Saturday from 12 to 3. We'll have the Easter bunny out there, food and crafts. So please join us.
And that takes care of our announcements. Let's move on to the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
I asked the A and C be removed.
Let's see.
Corrections were previously given and I know they're not, they haven't had a chance to make them yet.
All right. There's no other further discussion on the rest of it, then we can go ahead and move with the motion to approve the consent agenda as amended. If you so do, please.
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda with the amendments of removal A and C or A and B.
A
A
and
and
C.
C.
Oh, A and C.
Yeah, right. All right.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion by Alderman McNeil and a second by Alderman Crickmer to approve the consent agenda excluding A and C. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Right, that motion carries. We'll move right along. Now, so hang on, I got more people jumping in, so give me one moment. All right, so I do believe we have everybody on the line that needs to be here. Let me see here. Which item is it? So I know we do have enterprise in here. Dr. Johnson, which item is enterprise? I'm just not finding it really quickly. Never mind. D. For agenda item, unfinished business. 8D, discuss and or possible.
New business.
Is it new? Did I say that? New business, sorry. 8D, new business, excuse me. Discuss or possible action on, discuss or possible action on a budget workshop with Enterprise Fleet Management to oversee city vehicles through an equity-based leasing program designed to reduce operational costs. Daniel, you do have the floor now if anybody in your team wants to take it over from here.
Yes, that would be me. I'm just so I'm aware, I want to ensure, is there a certain specific time amount that you have allotted so this way I can make sure I move at the proper cadence to go through everything with you all?
Yeah, I mean, there was a short PowerPoint or presentation provided. I mean, I think
I want to clarify, was it 3 minutes though? Just so because I just want to make sure how much time I
no,
have to. Okay.
that's citizens to be heard, right? So it's a little bit
Okay.
different. So I mean,
That's fine.
you could do it in three, great. But if not, 5 to 10 minutes
Yeah.
should work if that works
No,
out.
Yeah, thank you. That would be great. I don't think I need anything longer than that for the purposes of what you're seeing if you would like to consider and work this through further through with a budget workshop and so forth. But yes, my name is Nick Miller. I'm one of the area managers over the team that is in the territory where the city of Sandy Oaks falls. So therefore, we are the team that services for our company. Essentially, what we are is a sister company to Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Enterprise Truck Renter, Enterprise Car Sales, and our focus is really in the commercial and public space for fleet vehicles. I do have some brief slides that I think will really help you all that I can share. Do you all have ability to see the screen?
Yes, we do. Give me one
Okay.
second so that way I can make the settings so that way you can share.
That would be perfect. I find the visuals to be just helpful in when I go over some of the concept. But essentially, we've been working in the government space for a long time. We won the RFP with TIPS and Sourcewell for providing fleet management services to government entities. We're based here in Houston, but service all of Texas. We provided some references with other cities that we work with, and essentially our program is designed to help cities or public institutions do more with less of their budget dollars and run a effective vehicle life cycle for the city vehicles, either emergency response and or other utility trucks and so forth. And essentially, it's really based around the philosophy that these assets have a effective vehicle life cycle or a time where they should be replaced, and then the mechanisms that we utilize, such as open and equity leasing and so forth, to help from a budgetary perspective. Is it available where I could share my screen now?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So we did supply some documentation. I'm not sure if it was distributed just to kind of summarize and some client references, as I mentioned. But essentially, our philosophy about identifying the effective vehicle life cycle comes down to three real things, right? The moment a vehicle is purchased and put into utilization, it immediately begins to lose value as any depreciating asset. Well, with time and age comes and miles comes increased maintenance expense. Typically, what I see, and which is common to your fleet data that we looked at, is you typically have a buy and hold strategy where you buy the vehicle as a capital purchase and then will utilize the vehicle for as long as possible. Some of them are quite old, over 10 years old. And what happens is with time and the loss of value, you are essentially left with a bubble that builds, which is very common of what we see, where you have a bunch of aged vehicles that even if they're not costing you much in maintenance, safety, reliability, image, are other factors involved that if you want to replace them, it's kind of like you have to do another capital purchase and so forth. So by identifying the right time to get out of a vehicle and utilizing our leasing structure, we can customize that for you and then find that space where you can actually cycle the vehicle before it has no value and is costing you an operational downtime, safety issues, things of that nature. And really, what's in the advantage and where our government partners that we work with see the most value is on our resale capability. Because typically government entities run a small mileage pattern, there's a lot better upside on resale, which we'll talk about later here. But this is just the basic concept of like what our philosophy is. It's essentially just don't buy it and run it to the ground. Well, when we looked at your exact fleet, and we provided all this data and analysis for you all to look at, essentially what we looked at were core vehicles in yellow, and we're looking at what is the current odometer, but also what is the 12-month projected odometer, what is the projected 12-month market value, and the age in service. So these are the factors that we use to look at and determine what vehicles we would essentially recommend to replace. Couple pieces to that. We do analysis on what is an ideal life cycle. So for you all, the Interceptor or police vehicles would be on a recommended 3-year cycle. The F-150s on a recommended 5-year cycle. We also assess the value of the vehicles that the city currently has. And we are giving our forecast of what we believe we could sell those for on the city's behalf. So about $9,800. This data all feeds into the effective vehicle life cycle. Again, when I'm looking at your annual mileage pattern, the types of vehicle you're using, those are the factors that we're looking at when determining how long should you hold this for. So ultimately, if we were to look at we put together a cash flow model, essentially of what it would look like for you all if you were to partner with us and, have us manage the city fleet utilizing the open-end equity lease. There's some other material too about acquisition strategies and such that you guys can look at. It's pretty straightforward. This is really where the heart of it comes from when looking at what the cost projection would be for the city. So it's really simple. You have the desired or the vehicle types we looked at with the city administrator. We provide the monthly lease payment, the fixed optional maintenance program where we can fix the maintenance costs for the city vehicles. For example, in this F-150, it's $60 per month. That would cover all oil changes, tire rotations, and any kind of mechanical failure throughout that lease term. We just use the quantity from our analysis of what our recommendation would be, which the bulk is the emergency response vehicles were the oldest and kind of in age, and offenders in maintenance and other things, reliability. So it provides you with your monthly payment for each vehicle type. And then for budgetary purposes, we just annualize that out for you all and give you a forecast of what that looks like. On the bottom of this, because the leasing is a type of finance and the open-end equity lease we use is not a lease that is typical of like a residential lease that you would get for yourself or something. It's a commercially designed lease in that there's no mileage penalty on it, no wear and tear penalty on it. And you guys get the equity in the vehicle when we sell it. The other part too is it's completely customizable to that effective vehicle life cycle that we talked about recommending. So from an upfront cost perspective, there's really no upfront cost for you guys from a down payment perspective, for lack of a better word. The only money or upfront cash outlay you have is just your registration of the vehicles, and then on the equipment, 50% of the equipment that goes into the police vehicles, which are more tools, that 50% of that cost would be paid upfront, and the other 50% enterprise would allow to be financed in the lease itself. So again, these strategies are about conserving cash flow and budget dollars, and how if you could, if you go out and buy a truck day one for 50,000, our philosophy is, well, how many trucks or vehicles could you lease with that annually, to just do more with those dollars. So for this exercise that we looked at, there was 8 police vehicles. So simply using about $20,000 to $25,000 is typically what we see for emergency response upfit equipment. That's also totally customizable to your preferences and needs. And this is just this is just the total upfront based on the quantity of vehicles. Now, we did also look at what your first year budget would be if you were to do this exercise completely, with looking at, okay, what is the leasing cost, any upfront money or CPR, and then what, including the maintenance on the truck. So we just put that together for you. And then we looked at that equity that you would get back from the resale of your old trucks or old vehicles, giving you an idea of what your total year one cash outlay would be if for this specific plan and set of vehicles. Now, one of the important parts about the open-end equity lease, and really what's a big advantage to utilizing this program, is the resale factor. So if you look at this lease structure, we provided this to you as well. This just breaks down our lease structure. You have the cost of the first one is the police vehicle. It's the cost of the police vehicle before half of the aftermarket money is put down. The cost of the police vehicle after that, the term of the lease, the percentage we're depreciating the vehicle at. And essentially what this chart is showing us is that at the end of this 3-year cycle, we can sell that police vehicle for $13,500 because you're only leasing it, and to conserve budget dollars, we're against paying it down and running it to the ground. So there's intentionally a balance left on it. But when you take the money from the resale, pay off the balance on the lease, you're positive $7,200 of equity that would go back to the city's budget. And what typically this 57,000 is just that amount times the 8 vehicles that we looked at. And then for the trucks, it's about $18,000 that would go back to the city when that lease term is up. So what you're just seeing with this system is conserving budget dollars on the front end from going to a monthly payment versus a capital purchase. And then on the end of the leases, since you own the equity, you're getting the money back that you could put back to the budget. And most, I would say almost all the cities I work with, basically, after you do one generation of leasing, you've built a self-sustained fleet replacement fund or a fund to help mitigate your cost of replacement on there. And then we'll give you access to our technology, which we provide the training on. It's where the vehicles can be managed, as well as vehicles outside of enterprise. So other city-owned vehicles can be entered into here and drivers can be assigned, so forth and so on. And then our other value add too is we give you an assigned team. So you get an assigned client strategy manager, an assigned account fleet coordinator, and their goal is to do one, the onboarding and implementation of the program with you, but also to help you maintain that fleet strategy. So we have annual meetings that we do looking at fleet analyses to see how the market's doing, what is the best recommendation for your vehicles based on the age and miles, and other factors to help you all make the best decisions that work for the city. So this is pretty much the nuts and bolts of everything we went over with the city administrator for how our program works. I know it's a lot and I know it's a different philosophy, so I'm also happy to answer any questions you may have. And I can also, I know we sent over to the city administrator. I don't know if you have any questions on the handout that we sent out as well.
Can you go back to your presentation really quickly? I just want to take a
Of
look.
course. Is there a particular slide that you wanted to go back to?
Yeah, so I want to go back to the where you start introducing the numbers where
This one, the model?
yes. Okay, so
Sure.
part of that 1798, right, for the police vehicles, a portion of that is a part of the retrofit, if I understood you correctly.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. And so year one, now do we have to sell the vehicles through you? Because the way you've assessed them, I mean, it's just not realistic, right? $500 for one of our patrol vehicle doesn't make sense. There's certainly a small town out there that will take it for $4,000 or whatever it may be with all the equipment on there. So do we have to go through you for that purpose?
No, no, and that's a fair point. The thing that's challenging about assigning values to active emergency response vehicles is to factor in condition. So we operate ultra conservatively versus to put an unrealistic value on there. But no, the short answer is you do not have to go through us to sell one of your own vehicles. That is your right to dispose of it however you choose. A leased vehicle that if you were to come on board with us and the vehicle is leased through us, the
Right.
whole value add of is for us to sell and take you out of that process completely. Which we do have our own remarketing sister company in the enterprise family of companies that does all of our sales for our not only our rental car company, but also for our clients as well. So that infrastructure is what our clients piggyback off of for the sale of the leased vehicles.
Okay. And then so this is a 36-month cycle. As we've as we would sell or return the leased vehicles, right? I think you roughly gave us about $90,000 worth of credit. Like if well, I guess so go to the next
It
slide.
was 57,000, sir.
No, it was two.
Well, you're not cycling because these are two very different vehicles with very different scenarios and applications. You're not going to cycle them at the same time. So the top is the 57 represents the equity if you were to do 8 emergency response vehicles, and the bottom is for if you were to do 2
Gotcha.
trucks,
5
that
years.
would cycle at 5 years.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's just focus on the 57,000 then. So if we go back one slide.
hmm
I'm just trying to get to the point where we're 3 years later, what's gonna be our cost at the 3-year mark, right? Is it gonna be $50,000 instead of the and then it's not a good comparison because we're mixing in different vehicles at the same time. So I just wanted to see like, okay, at year 3, what is it gonna cost us again? Right? Does that make sense?
Correct. So here's the thing. If you're at 3 years, right? I get what you're saying. You're looking at what is the second generation of leases, if I'm understanding you
Correct.
accurately. Right. So essentially, right, if you were to look at this, your upfront cost, and it's hard because we're assuming 8 vehicles here just from this example, but whatever the upfront cost is let's say you did all 8. Let's just say we'll stick with these numbers to keep it simple. Let's say you're going to do these 8 vehicles, you're going to cycle them, and at the end of the 3 years, it's time to turn those in. Well, let's just say the numbers stay the same. So instead of you having to come up with another 101,000, because that's really your only upfront cost to do the emergency response vehicles, which is half of the cost of our equipment projection, which is 25,000, which again is dependent upon what equipment you choose to put on the emergency response vehicle. But anyway, let's just say it all stays the same. Well, at the end of the 3 years, Enterprise will front a credit for the projected resale of the police units on the new lease, which brings down your monthly payment, and that eliminates about 50% of your upfront cash that you would have to put down
But
for
you're looking
second
at the
generation.
101. Isn't that dollar amount for the 2 trucks, not for the 8 cars? If you want to look at the 8 cars, you need to go up to the top box, correct? Where you have
well,
those
no.
vehicles.
No. This is the annual cost. This is the total upfront cost for
the
you.
2
I don't
trucks.
have.
Oh, for everything.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you're referencing. There's the 2 trucks. The 57,000 is coming from the resale of the
I don't
8.
understand the difference between the top boxes and the bottom boxes. Can you tell me what the top box is telling me versus what the bottom set of boxes is saying?
The top box is the lease structure.
I hear the other
The
side.
previous slide.
Sure. So the top box is your monthly payment for said leased vehicle. And then that is annual, just an annual amount of how much you would pay if you were to lease 8 of these emergency response
So
vehicles
that's
over
our
a year.
annual cost for 3 years.
Yes, it's your no,
Okay.
it's your annual cash outlay by quantity. So 1798 times 8 vehicles times 12 months in a year.
But at the end of 3 years, you may not cycle all 8 vehicles. You may have some vehicles.
No.
You're gonna be.
If we sign a 3-year lease,
So they're doing
That's
3 years regardless of mileage?
yeah. Because then there's equity there, right? If we take it to 6 years, then
and if
there's
we
no
keep
equity.
it, we have to pay off the $6,000 lease per vehicle that he has indicated on the next page. Okay, so the top is what the recurring cost is, the bottom is, this is what we have to pay up front.
Right, so we would
Okay, I got it.
always have let's just call it 16,000 or $16,000 monthly payment, right? Every year, no matter what year. It's the 101 that would be cut in half. Because we have a credit every time we refinance or we renew the lease, correct? Does that make sense from y'all's perspective?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's exactly it. So what happens is again, because you own the equity in the asset, you're able to leverage those dollars to offset your future cost of replacement on the upfront cash outlay perspective in this example. Mm-hmm.
Right, so every year it's gonna cost us $190,000 for finance payments, right? Am I looking at that correctly? And then every 3 years we would, it's a little off, but every 3 years for sure every 3 years we would pay about 50 grand to re-outfit the new police vehicles if we did all.
Exactly. And again, this is a model, so there's assumptions of quantities and things of, it assumes you're putting $25,000 of emergency response vehicle equipment on there. That is all about what you choose to. We have to put something in there for a model to give you an idea. And typically what I see, if commonly I see anywhere from as low as 15, depending upon if it's kind of not as bells and whistled, and then I've seen agencies go as high as 25. It's all dependent upon what you would want from an equipment standpoint.
What if we equip, we migrate our old vehicles equipment to the new lease vehicles? Is that,
But you still have to do like the wrap and the light,
Yeah.
and they might not fit on the new vehicle.
Yeah, that's really it's not in theory it sounds nice, but in practice manufacturers adjust everything on vehicles every so often, right? They change the body style, the internal measurements. It doesn't work as cleanly as you would think. If you could recycle that equipment, I'm sure it would be awesome, but I just don't really ever have any. I don't have any agencies that I work with that do it because it's unfortunate, but it's just those vehicles are more like a tool, right? They're just like a giant toolbox, really.
But
To,
radios,
to
yeah.
But all the equipment we just bought and put inside, the computers and those, are just
Inside.
That's
that'll
what I'm saying.
transfer.
Radios and computers should transfer more or less, right?
Okay.
It's
to be honest with you too, when you lease a vehicle with us and that equipment in there, if you take the equipment out or off before you turn it in, it's your equipment, right? You have all rights of ownership on these vehicles and on these leases. So if you do like, hey, we had a radio installed here, but I'm going to take the radio out before you all sell it. Oh, I mean, okay, that's fine. We would need you to remove it before we sell it, so we could just sell it as is, because we don't do any kind of equipment removal or anything like. We don't have the infrastructure for that.
Next question, what if we just wanted to do two vehicles and we don't want to do our whole fleet at once?
Is there a minimum?
Yeah, that's a good point. Most of the government agencies that I work with don't do a band-aid approach for many reasons. I would tell you if you're not willing to do probably at least based on your fleet size, I would say. I mean, I definitely think there's a lot of value for you to do the trucks, the white fleet trucks. The police, if you wanted to start with two, oh, that's fine too. We need some sort of balance between the white fleet though to offset our risk. So if you were to like say, hey, we're interested in this, we want to try, let's do two police, two truck, and we'll see how that runs. But again, we look at the long term. This is planning for 3, 5 years. This is not something where, you're going to see a return on investment tomorrow. That's just not how it's built or situated. So, but yes, you could start with some, usually a third, I would say is a common idea of
Could
starting.
could you run us some numbers for 3 vehicles on each, both at 36 months?
Yes. Yeah.
Right, so that way we're looking at apples to apples, because I think what's making it difficult is the 36 and 60. I mean, if we can trade out police vehicles in 36 months, why can't we trade out a stock F-150?
Because we should.
You
Well, we
You
should,
could,
but-
you could very well say, hey, I would just like to have everything on the same cycle. I'm just being very transparent with you. That's the decision to do that, right? I would not recommend it only because that's my job is to give you the best recommendation for my company, which is, hey, we're saying that truck should be on a 5-year cycle because yes, there's a better resale market for a 5-year-old truck with approximately what 20 to 25, 30,000 miles on it, like your mileage pattern. But yes, if you wanted to, we absolutely could do that. No problem.
I mean, I don't care one way or the other, right? But just so it
Yeah.
makes it simpler, so we can kind of really see what the numbers, I just want to see it from a viewing standpoint, right? So
Well,
we can
actually, too, yeah, I mean, when you're shrinking cycle time, right? Like a lease is really just a type of finance. Ours is just a very friendly lease in that we don't like charge mileage penalty, wear and tear, and you own the equity. But yeah, absolutely. What I would say is, right, you're shrinking the amount of time you're financing that asset. So monthly payment may go up, but at the same time, because you're going to sell that vehicle in 3 years versus 5, the money you're going to get back on the back end will probably go up too. So you'll probably get more of an equity return on those trucks than what we're projecting, the 18. I would say it's probably going to go up, and your lease payment will go up a little bit though too.
What would happen if you crashed and totaled one of the police vehicles? The insurance would probably pay for it, but where would we sit with the lease?
Yeah, so it's the same instance though, like just like what happens today. I don't know, what do you do today? We'd probably, my clients, I have to order them a new vehicle if they want to replace it, you know? But usually go through an insurance claim, they'll pay it out, and then we have to find a replacement, get a replacement going.
From my perspective, Nicholas, if we could just kind of see something where everybody's kind of on the same timeline of a 36
Yeah.
or, maybe a 60, right? Just because we don't drive a ton of miles, at 5 years, it'll be 50,000 miles, probably less, but do we kind of see both perspectives? Maybe all of them
Yeah.
at 36 and all of them at 60, just so we can see
Yeah.
what it looks like.
The ERVs we won't put on the 60 though, because there's idle time and engine hours and other factors that go on to that. The truck is different. The ERVs, just to be honest, ERVs are not really, there's no really good like deal on an ERV for lack of a better term, right? They're a necessary tool for to do a job. But yes, we'll put the trucks on 3 year. And then what's interesting, right? What you're thinking, again, if you get more back, it's very common that when my cities that I work with look at their police vehicles and their white fleet or their utility trucks, right? They actually really like to put a lot of the admin or other parks and recreation or other, because these vehicles sell so much better, it actually helps the police to offset their costs. So I actually think I agree with you that if you shrink the truck to a 3 year and get them all in the same cycle for budgetary purposes, that could work. We'll just see what the payment is. Is that something we would provide to the city administrator?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's no problem. And then again, as I said, there's references in the handout too of clients we actively work with. Happy to get you introduced to a client if you'd like to talk about their experience. Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Okay. Any other questions from the council?
Not for him.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all's time very much. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
can send it
absolutely.
over to Dr. Johnson, and then we can rediscuss, and then we'll circle back with you.
Yeah, no problem. It was a pleasure. Thank you all so much for your time. Sorry it was a little clunky. The virtual world gets crazy, but thank you all. We'll do the update and send it to the city administrator.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right. So I do believe we have some other people online. I'm trying to assess. Can whoever's
So we
online?
have 3 for the new business and 1 for the unfinished business. Would you like to switch to the unfinished business to get that one?
Well, I'm trying to figure out who's who. So, yeah, because there's a guest, and so for the folks that are online, can you just kind of state I see Sustainable Foundations, that makes sense. But there's some other people here. I'm just trying to be sensitive of your time. So which one do you want to go first with, Dr. Johnson?
No, I was just wondering, we're not going to discuss this any further. We're going to come back to it later after we get all the presentations done.
I'd like to get paid.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. It'll be Michelle Martinez with the Texas Community Development Block Grant.
Okay, so Ms. Martinez, are you available?
What item number is that, sir?
That will be 7C.
Can you hear us? We can't hear you. Are you on mute? Or your microphone's not picking up? No audio. I can, do you wanna? What do I have?
Let's do something.
Yeah, resident.
Says you.
Oh, there's a guest. It's just a resident. Okay. Thank you. Okay, just for the residents. Okay. Thank you for joining in. Appreciate it. All right, so let's let her finish her audio difficulties.
Thank you.
That's her on the phone? Okay. So do you want to put it on speaker and then?
We'll just put you on speaker. Is that fine?
Oh, that sounds, yes, that's great. I do apologize. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Council. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all for the opportunity to support the City of Sandy Oaks and presenting this funding opportunity tonight. I wanted just to briefly walk through the Texas Department of Agricultural Downtown Revitalization Program and how this project is really well positioned to compete for some project that you all are looking into. The Downtown Revitalization Program is designed to fund public infrastructure improvements that address blight and deteriorating conditions. It also supports economic development, accessibility, and public safety within the defined downtown area. Projects that are most competitive clearly demonstrate existing deficiencies, such as a lack of ADA compliant sidewalks, inadequate lighting, drainage issues, and then underutilized or blighted properties. And then connect those conditions to a forward-looking plan for economic activation in the downtown area. This is exactly what the funding can help with.
Okay,
So sorry.
no, you're fine. So then just to give the council a download. So this is the grant we talked about, I believe, 2 meetings ago. Whereas we were originally discussing this road of Priest Road that ran from basically our city hall down to the Valero that is eroding on the sides, right? Whereas TxDOT came back and finally said, no, that's our road. We're going to maintain it. So now that was my initial plan, was to get this CDBG grant to rehabilitate that road, right? Make it nice. TxDOT came back, said it's ours. We're going to put some money into it to fix the edging at first, and then we'll budget for it to fully resurface. So we kind of squashed the idea of applying for this grant for that particular road. So then we just wanted to present the idea to now the council of additional projects, right? Like what else for our downtown area, right? Which again, based off of our master plan, runs from City Hall to about to the Valero, and what are other options that we can do, which is kind of some of the things that she presented, right? One item that Dr. Johnson discussed with me is sidewalks. Dr. Johnson, if you want to kind of explain what your thought on that was.
Yes, so we had our engineer draw up he gave us a quote for sidewalks due to the fact that, like you said, Priest Road to the left of us is considered downtown. So maybe putting sidewalk along that area, because the city's growing, it's going to grow so fast. Just so we are getting new people in the city, and we have safety. We have a safety measure in place. There was one option. Another option would be like a marquee, which I really like. So right now we have the City of Sandy Oaks signed a marquee that would host, like, show our events, what's going on at the city hall, upcoming events, date, time, those type of things there. Another option was maybe buying the lot on Salabus to the left, and maybe it's about $280,000, which these guys will be willing to help us, because this grant is $1 million, so we don't have to match it based on the economic means.
And Michelle, just to clarify, would the purchase of real property be a part of the grant?
Yes, so the max though is 250,000. And Dr. Johnson, I want to apologize to you because I don't know the $1 million. It is capped at 500,000. So I am sorry, but this grant opportunity is capped at 500,000. Now, we could phase it out if y'all like. So phase 1 could be purchasing of the land, and maybe up to another 150 for clearing or whatever infrastructure you need. And then maybe phase 2 at next year, we can do a second part, whatever other things that council deems priority.
Okay. What was the other recommendation that you had, Dr. Johnson?
I would like maybe purchasing the side of us, and where people can rent it out for food trucks, so we get the.
But no. You're
He said a marquee.
a marquee
Marquee,
sign. Yes.
marquee.
Okay. Is a marquee sign
And
also a part of?
more lighting as well.
It could be part of the lighting, correct. It wouldn't be the highlight of it. It would be, this is part of the package. So definitely we're going to look at the safety of everything and maybe use that component as to help draw in economic, education as well as for economic development.
Okay. So it would be a part of a bigger package. Okay. Understood.
Yes,
I just want to make sure that idea is even plausible. So, okay.
Yes.
So what is the cost of this lot next to us?
180,000, yes, now. So it's like 3 different plots, but it only It doesn't go all the way down to the corner of Priest Road. I think it's a good idea.
Tax base.
I have a question as far as how these grants are dispersed, because in the past, it was like Bear County was getting all the money and they were deciding who was getting what, and we got passed over in the past, we would get passed over. Bear County would distribute it within other cities, other municipalities.
And that brings
Is
up,
that still, is that the same practice, how this money is distributed?
and that's a great point, Michelle. So we are in fact applying for through Bear County, another portion of the CDBG grant for the purpose of, road repair. Would this disqualify us from applying for this grant?
Not that I know of, not that I've ever heard. I've always had different cities or counties they could apply for different ones as long as they're not duplicate projects. So, or with duplicate funding. So, correct. And sir, I do understand what you're saying about the bigger metros getting more of the dollars and them being regionally allocated. I think in this one though, we are holding our own by competing on our own. So we may be competing with Bear County, but they're not going to be allocating dollars to anybody else. Because it's not split like that. We're just competing on our own. I'm sorry, I hope I'm making sense.
What is the deadline for applying for this grant?
It should be April 7th.
Correct.
April 7th.
Yes, sir. It was extended.
So I watching the local news, San Antonio is applying for this same grant for improvements, I think, on General McMullen.
Yes. So good thing,
but
he's the one
understood.
that write it, so she don't get paid unless we actually get the grant, so she actually makes the grant.
Yes, that's correct.
And is that your portion of payment, is that a part of the budget for the grant or is that separate? Okay.
Yes, Mayor, it's part of it. It's going to include administrative costs as well as engineering costs in there too.
So there's no upfront cost to us, or that's the upfront cost.
I think the upfront cost, I think you have a $2,500 fee, is that correct? Or something like that from the times you assisted us with the police department.
Yes, but on this one, no, that would be this one, because this allows for administrative costs. I don't, unless you all get the award, then I'm able to utilize that. Otherwise, I don't charge it. It's a win-win for the city. If we'll be writing the grant, working with Dr. Johnson and the team. If we are not awarded, then it's just a lesson learned. Let's move forward and hopefully try for the next year.
So I think Alderman Kirkman brought up a great point. If we purchase that property, granted, we could probably get a sales tax if we turn it into a food truck like Dr. Johnson was explaining. But if, somebody were to develop it, build houses or build a house or two houses on that same land, we'd get more property tax. So there's different ways to go about it, but I think by us acquiring it, there's a limiting factor as well. So
Put a Lowe's Market in there. Perfect.
you got to get them to come.
They build them every year. Big enough.
So the bottom line is we need to decide what we want to do with that area and submit this application.
Correct.
I mean,
The sidewalk's a good idea.
Yes, sir. And we can do it in phases. We can start out with lighting, or we start off with sidewalks, and then get a 3-year phase plan. We will build up to possibly purchasing land someday.
But I think purchasing the land would probably be the first step.
Okay.
And calling it, I mean, if we're calling that our downtown area, we need that property to develop our downtown.
Yeah.
Whether it be putting more, another government office there or some other type of business that will help the downtown area, we would need to draw some economic development into the area. But if that is a downtown area, I think purchase of the property would be the first step.
We need to revise the master plan to include the shops
That's a
and
later
Dollar
conversation.
General. Another discussion.
Yeah. My only objection to the sidewalks is, and maybe it's because I'm short-sighted on this, right? But the sidewalks lead to where? I mean, we have no other sidewalk. And this is why I said I'm short-sighted on it, right? Like, I like the idea of sidewalks, but I just don't see, again, maybe in the 10-year plan, sidewalks make a whole lot
If we
of sense.
develop the area.
Yeah, which should be
something
part of the
there,
plan for the
yeah,
development.
sidewalk.
First, we need to get the property
Yeah.
Exactly.
and plan it for commercial development.
Just a sidewalk from here to the Valero, just around that nasty curve.
Mhm.
But for now, I mean, I would move that we approve for applying for the CDB grant, CDB.
For the purpose of
For the
acquiring real
purpose of
property.
Acquiring that. for development of the downtown area.
A second. Unless there's more discussion, sorry.
No, but I can take a motion.
Take the
Okay.
motion and then we can discuss.
Then we can
it
discuss again. All right, so I do have a motion from Alderman Tremblay and a second from Alderman McNeil to authorize the grant writer to complete an application for the purpose of the real property next to the city of Sandy Oaks City Hall. Dr. Johnson, you had something you wanted to say?
Yes, sir. Michelle, can you explain how would this help us with the subdivisions that we may possibly annex? How could this be funds tied to that?
So with the downtown, well, you're looking at, of course, the economic development, right? But also with this grant, what it helps is since we're tying in your downtown and y'all are moving out more and growing more, we're already getting ahead of the game of infrastructure. That's one of the beautiful things about this is that, yes, I know, Mayor, you're talking about the sidewalks and maybe, you know, right now that's not part of what we're trying to do. But as you said, maybe in your 3-year plan or 10-year plan or 5-year plan, because at that point you've already grown maybe an additional 10 or 20%. And these funds, if we step in now, we'll be able to, hopefully we could come back next year and the following year to continue with that infrastructure, which will tie in to your EJTs. And again, of course, just that whole beautiful cycle of bringing in your Lowe's or your neighborhood Walmart or your small HEB, just something that would help us to continue with the economic development.
Now, as part of this grant, do we need to specify what we're going to do with that property once we acquire it? How much detail do we need to specify about this purchase?
So because the amount is approximately 280, now I would consider maybe if somebody could speak with the owner and if they could bring it down a little bit, because our max is 250. If not, the 30,000 would have to come out of the city's cash match. And so once that is done, if there's any infrastructure or clearing, you know, or anything like that that you would need, we could go ahead and put that into it. So it might be very basic in the purchase of the land and then putting some infrastructure that maybe could equal up to the 150, right? Or a little bit less, because if we add admin and then engineering costs, we might be really close with just very minimal infrastructure.
Okay, so we don't need to specify what we're going to do with the land, just that we're going to purchase it for future
For
development.
downtown development.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you getting that 280 figure from BCAT?
No, sir. I spoke with the listing agent today. However, I can speak with her and see if we can get that, down.
Have we looked at BCAT?
250. No, sir, I haven't. I was just speaking directly to the agent.
How much they're asking?
280.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that's
Oh,
how much they're asking for.
Right.
I mean,
But it's been on the market for a long time. They've called me a
they
few
might go
times.
down.
Yeah.
They might, I mean, there's,
It has gone down because I want to say the initial conversation when they called me was about 320. So
okay,
they might be motivated and they don't live here. So
right, but otherwise we'd have to come up with 30 grand out of cash.
Yeah. which is
Correct. Yeah.
not unimaginable.
Right, given the potential future development of that area.
I think when they purchased them for like 7.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. All right. So I do have a motion. I do have a second. We'll go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, we have one opposed. All right, that motion carries. All right, so Michelle, if you can work with Dr. Johnson to get that application submitted, then just let us know what you need from our side so that way we can provide you that data.
That sounds great. Thank you so much. Thank you all again. And y'all have a wonderful evening.
You too, Michelle. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We use her for all.
All right. Okay, Dr. Johnson, is there another?
Yes, there should be for the website design, ADA compliance.
Okay, what item is that? Find it.
So it should be 8C.
8C. Okay, moving on to agenda item 8C, discuss it or possible action regarding digital accessibility improvements, including website accessibility compliance, agenda meeting management systems, PDF accessibility standards, and their role in community development, including authorizing the city administrator to enter into a contract with selected providers. All right. So Dr. Johnson, are you, yeah, you want to go ahead and lead this one? What have you done thus far?
Yes, sir. So we was told after 2 meetings ago to look at B Hub, so it's underutilized businesses for veterans. We did get the quote from Civic Plus. However, we talked since then, talked to 3 additional vendors. 2 of those are B Hubs, and one of those is with Revise. We've done about 10 other cities, and then we have Venture, a young lady just retired from the military, has her own business, and she could provide us that package deal for a lot less. And we have another young man retired from the Air Force, the same thing, provide us those same benefits for a lot less. I would say leave it up to me to get right down to where you wanted to, and you guys hear them out, and we'll go from there. They should be online right now. Let me know when to start.
What is the legal requirement? By what date? I mean, this is all part of it being a legal requirement that we have to supply this.
Yes, to be
Correct.
ADA compliant.
Yes, I want to see.
It's next year, right? The ADA compliance is next year, April of next year.
April, or I can't remember the exact date in April, but April
27.
27th
Yep.
or 2027.
So there's time, right? There's time to make the decision, but I think we wanna get it started now, sooner than later, rather. So just so that way that part is out of the way, right? Because as we get closer to the deadline, more and more cities are gonna jump on board. And then now we're in the back of the line. So I think getting started, at least on that component is.
And I've looked at there's a lot of material to go through.
Yes.
If I can just ask the administrator, have you worked with any of these programs in previous positions, in your previous jobs?
No, sir.
None of them.
No, except Unicode. So I was with Kirby, Texas, and we use Unicode. I'm the one who helped build the fee schedule. Got from different departments. They would get the fees from different cities there, and I just helped get that information over to Unicode and get that built out. Unicode is like, so we can purchase, which the council does not want to do, but we can purchase Unicode individually from Civic Plus. However, there are different vendors that can do the same thing that Unicode provides. There's a bundle. Yeah.
I mean, to me, rather than sit here and go through, I mean, some of these are 60 pages, 65 pages long.
They're on the video. You can give us a 5-minute brief if you like. Each speaker.
Do we have anybody from Unicode, right? Or Civic Plus?
Venture.
Or Venture?
Revise, and.
We heard Unicode last time.
Venture or Revise? Is anybody on the line to speak to those? All right, Thomas Jean, if you want to come online
Who's that one?
Revise.
from Revise.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. How we doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yourself?
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So you want me to give you kind of a 5-minute quick overview or?
Yeah, I think that would be great to start, please.
Okay, great. Let me just go ahead and try to share my screen here. All right. Seeing that should be purple and white saying revised there.
Yep, looks good.
All right, perfect. I'll go ahead and dive in. I'll try to keep this under 5 minutes for you. So my name is Thomas Jean, by the way. I'm a program manager here with Revise. Been with Revise about 13 years. And yes, there is a ADA compliance mandate coming for you all April of next year. So you got that right. So you do have time. And basically what Revise does is we take care of your website and surrounding software around that website. We're located here in Troy, Michigan, and all we do is build websites and software for cities, towns, villages, you name it. Over 3,000 websites launched to date. All of them are government entities. So here are some of our cities. Here are some of our counties, big and small, all throughout Texas. And I can kind of rapid fire some here for you at the moment. So here's City of Converse that we did. Here we got Shavano Park. Here we got City of Marion, Cibolo, Texas, Conroe, Allen, various lengths of drives or flights away from you. Harlingen, Navasota. This one recently won an award, actually probably about 10 months or so ago. And then here's Pleasanton. So big list of different clients, all shapes and sizes. And so a few things that you all need to do for your website is for the compliance is it needs to be readable for everyone. It needs to be able to be navigated without using a mouse. So you should be able to go to a website and be able to tab through it without using a mouse at all. So for example, if I go to this website here and I don't use my mouse, I just press the tab key. You have to be able to work your way through the website in a order that makes sense and be able to get in and out of every menu and be able to see everything just like that. As part of the process, obviously, we redesign the website, give you a brand new design. It's a custom design, not a template. We migrate all the content for you. We train you on how to edit and update the website. And then we support you after go live with unlimited tech support. So that's the website specifically. And then, of course, we have the ability to do something we call our service request system. So this is one of my favorite things we've done over the years. So this here allows folks to submit requests based on a map view. Could be roadkill, could be potholes, could be whatever you all decide to allow those folks to submit. So you'll see things that have already been submitted here. You get to decide whether these are publicly viewable or not. So if it's a false submission or it's not relevant to the city, it does not have to be public. But basically, if someone wanted to report something, they would click report an issue. They would then either create an account or continue as a guest. And then they simply take this little dropper here, put it anywhere within the city, address updates automatically up over here. They then choose their issue. These are all customized to you. They fill it out, hit submit or report in this case, and then a person or multiple people there at the city will get an email, and then they can respond to those issues both publicly or privately with or without their own photo. So if you fix an issue or you're working on an issue, you can actually update it and the public can see the update. So you might not be able to read this, but this one says, thank you for reporting this pothole. We'll get it addressed at our earliest opportunity. So that we call our service request system. We've, of course, got a form system. Everything is totally mobile responsive. So if you come to the website on any device, you will see it mobile responsive. So it adjusts on different screen sizes, including phones, which for most cities, your traffic to your website from a smartphone is well over 50%. So it's got to work as good, if not better, on a smartphone. I'll go ahead and stop there. I think I'm around 5 minutes, but any questions, anything you want to see more of? I could ramble on for over an hour, but I won't do that to you.
Thomas, I do have a question for you. So one of the things that we have to do every 2 weeks is we got to post our agendas. How do we do that, right? I mean, is it through you? And not literally through you, but I mean, do we go through a service or are we in there posting our agendas? What's the reality of that?
Yep, good question. So you can post your agendas yourself. All you do is log into the website. So you have a username and a password. We, of course, train you on how to do this. It's very user-friendly. So you log in, you go to the page where you have your agendas and minutes. And this is just what one of these looks like. There's a bunch of different ways we can make it look, but to add a new one, you would click Edit. You would then click Add Agenda. You name it. So maybe it's just regular board meeting. You can have a little mini description. You can put a location in there if you want. And then here you can add your documents. So here you click Upload File. Go find your file, whatever it may be. And let's just do like chat bot. So click OK, click Save, Publish.
And formatting, I mean, is that kind of encoded or hard coded so that way? Because right now we use Beaver Builder, and if you don't highlight things and make it bold or add color to it, it looks completely different. Like it's very piece by piece has to be specifically done.
Yeah, yes, we hard code it. Now there is ways around it, but we make it really easy for you. So on every page you go to, it'll be consistent. You'll have headers on every page, which is part of the ADA compliance mandate. We also have checkers that can check and tell you if something's not compliant. So yeah, it makes it easy on you. So this is my cat, by the way, not just a random cat. So
Thought it was Mary Smith's. Okay, so then the other part of it was I think there was a part of the ADA compliance to review our documentation and make sure that's legible by OCRs.
Yep.
Is that part of your service as well?
It is. So there's two ways to do it. One is hard and takes a long time and is expensive. And that is manually remediating every PDF.
Right.
If time and money were not a factor, that's what you would do. However, that gets very time intensive and of course cost intensive. So an alternative is an HTML conversion tool. So something you can do there.
Is that
Is
something y'all
basic-
provide, or is this something that we need to do?
Nope. So this is something we provide. We call it RZ ClearDocs. So what it does is basically you continue to add PDFs to your website. Ideally, those PDFs would be as compliant as you can make them. They do not have to be necessarily, but basically someone will click on the PDF, that agenda there, for example. This is a county up in Kansas. They see the PDF agenda. Whether this is compliant or not does not matter for this tool to be used. So they got their agenda. You click accessible text view at the top right here. It converts it to what's called a conforming alternative. So it's an HTML version of that agenda, and it does it automatically for you. Now, these tools have existed in the past. Traditionally, they have been really inaccurate. That has changed as companies have gotten better with this, including us. These conversions have gotten much more accurate, even to the level of being able to get handwritten signatures, pictures, a variety of different types of things that could not be converted previously. Tables, maps, all of that has to be converted, and this tool does that. So. And that was included in the pricing that we sent over.
No, he stepped away.
Now this too, this fixed the piece where people are trying to like do keyword searches on ordinances and stuff, because right now they gotta go through, that doesn't fix that.
No, this is not codification. Do you provide codification?
Yeah, so two options for codification. We can either build you one that's very similar to many of the others that you've seen out there. Basically, most codification systems are sort of like a directory that's searchable with all your codes in it, and then as you update them, either you or the service will update them online for you. So we can either build it for you, or we do have a kind of loose partnership with a company called eCode 360, and they do a lot of codes. They've been doing it for many years. And so it looks like this basically.
So you'll just work with them, right? Or we would work with them, and then they would link to our site.
Correct. Or to be quite honest, if you want to use Unicode for your code system, that's totally fine as well. We're all for like, hey, let's do the best option for you for each thing, not necessarily getting it all from one vendor. So.
Okay. Any questions from the council?
Cost.
What is the cost?
What is the cost? Is it okay if I display it here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Just pull it up here.
Yeah, some bunch of different costs.
You can pull up this document. It's got all
That
the
works.
information.
Sorry about that. I'm getting there.
While doing that, does anybody object to an 8 p.m. 10-minute recession? I know we usually get a little fidgety about an hour and a half into this.
No objection.
Okay, here we go. So we have it broken down basically by phase. So the project cost just for the, are you able to see my screen there, the pricing?
Yeah.
Okay, so project is basically broken down by phase. This is the website pricing. So this is to redesign your website, to migrate the content, to train you on how to edit and update that content. It's also that public service request system I showed you a minute ago, and something we call public records requests, which is forms, permits, that sort of thing. Here is our annual fee. So that is tech support, software updates, and of course, access to our content management system. Below, we've got the eCode 360 platform in there. They've provided a quote. That's what they would charge. This can be removed, of course, if you want to use another vendor, but that is that cost.
That's for codification, right? Just
Correct, codification, absolutely. Yep. Here we have our RZ ClearDocs tool. So that is the PDF conversion tool I showed you a few moments ago. And then we have what we call our RZ Assist accessibility widget. So basically, this is a widget that goes on the website, and people can view it. I'll just show you real quick. So it's a little widget here, comes up and lets you get a big cursor. You can change the colors, you can change the font size, you can zoom in, all that sort of things. Now, as part of this, we do also include manual scanning and remediation by our team in-house, because these scan tools are great, these widgets are great, but as time goes on, no matter what vendor you have for your website, your site is going to slowly creep to lower compliance. So what we include is ongoing scanning by our team, and we remediate the issues that we come across on an ongoing basis. So it's a both automated process and a manual process with our experts in-house that do it. All they do all day is scan and remediate our website. So that's the big value there. And then final thing is we do have an agenda builder as well. So if you do decide that you no longer want to use PDFs, we do have an agenda builder platform that allows you to build them all online. It creates a PDF version of the agenda, posts the agenda to your website if you want to go that route. But if you wanted to hold off on this, you could still continue to do your PDF agendas and maybe add this at a later time. So all these are optional, of course.
And the PDF to HTML and the widget and the agenda, those are annual prices?
Yes, this whole page, well, except for the codification, these bottom three here are annual fees. Yep.
Do you have something that shows what would be our total annual cost if we took all these services?
Yes, I believe I can pull that up.
I'm trying to just do a little bit of rough math here.
Yep. Yeah, and based on the earlier discussion I was listening in on, you all love your numbers, so I appreciate that. So yeah, so this is the 3-year breakdown. So this first number is the cost for the website build out. The second number is the codification, and the last three numbers are 3 years of annual fees for all of those services I mentioned. In year 4, if you go to year 4 with us for the website, we do also include a redesign of the website at that time. No strings attached. Although most of our clients do still stay with us after that. It's nice to know that you do have that redesign coming in year 4, which a lot of our clients that signed up with us 4 years ago really lucked out with the ADA compliance mandate coming, because we're getting those all rolling now for all of our cities under 50,000 population. So worked out really well for them. Any questions on those?
What is the cost of the 4-year redesign?
There is no cost. It's included in year 4. Now, generally, most of our clients do end up signing up with us again for another 4 years at that point. It is not a mandatory requirement though. So Revise can be hosted without us. Like, you can host your website and our content management system independently. Most of our clients don't do that, but you do have that ability.
Well, year 1, well, not even year 1, right? August 1st, we should be all in $35,000 is what I'm looking at.
Correct. Give or take.
Yeah.
I rely on a calculator more than my.
No. I just want to make sure I understood kind of the limit here.
Correct. Yeah. And actually, that'll be tied to the go live date. So we're estimating the go live date there. It could be sooner, it could be later. If you're on a July budget cycle or October, we can work around that if it makes sense and reasonable. So.
Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Thomas Jean from Revise? All right, well, sir, I appreciate your time. We will circle back with you once we've made a decision. And, but look forward to a communication from, our city administrator.
Absolutely. Thank you all for your time and happy to do a more in-depth presentation if anyone is interested. So thanks again. Enjoy your break and the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Bye. All right, and then, Dr. Johnson, you said there was another company,
Yes, sir. Venture as well as Texas AI.
Venture?
Yes, sir.
Do we have anybody from Venture on the line?
Hi all, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good. I'm trying to find you. Wait 1 second. Thomas Jean, you're still screen sharing, by the way, so. Stop your share.
Should I go ahead and proceed or were you?
Yeah, let me see if I can end his share. Okay.
Okay.
Let me stop by. See your screen. Well, I don't want to see that screen though. Share. All right. We should be able to go now and take your screen share.
Awesome. There's no screen share. Doing this via mobile at this time, but I am prepared to go through you said 5-minute briefing, as well as answer any questions that you may all have for me.
Sure, yeah. Let's kind of give us a little bit of an overview of what you can offer, and then we'll kind of follow up with the same questions that we've had for the last presentation.
Certainly. So for starters, someone mentioned earlier, happy MLB season, go Yankees. So I'm right there with you. So Mayor Martinez, council member, city administrator, Dr. Johnson, thank you again for hopping on and giving us your time this evening. I want to just based off of some of the things that you've addressed with Revise, as well as just I'm sorry?
No, nothing. Nobody said anything.
Oh, sorry about that. I just kind of want to make sure that we're able to kind of go into it with the clear points of distinction. Every vendor, right, presenting tonight can build you a website. That's not necessarily the question. What you guys are looking for as far as compliance, what was brought up as well with codification and other features, I'll be able to more appropriately speak to those things. So I'm the founder and CEO of Ventured Soul LLC. We're veteran-owned. We're a Texas Hub certified. We're based about 25 miles from this council chamber. When something needs attention, a form stops working or a notification doesn't send, anything of that nature, right? Your city clerk or whoever you guys have assigned to the task, you call one number, right? You'll be directly in contact with me, and I'll be directly in contact for any questions that you guys may have, like for any software that you guys have integrated on board or any vendors as well. No support ticket queue. It's not a national account manager type of situation, right? You're directly getting me as the founder. So the platform we deploy, it's not a website template. It's pretty much a fully integrated municipal site. So it has communications, citizen services, our agenda management, digital forms, payments. And as far as codification goes, so we don't currently offer codification as a built-in service, but it is on the roadmap. Most will continue with their existing provider, and we make it easy to link or integrate that onto the website so residents can still access it seamlessly. I know MuniCode was brought up earlier, and a few other, obviously you guys can choose and select whichever platform fits your needs, but we are able to embed that onto the platform. As far as compliance, we're not promising, right, to make you compliant eventually. The site is compliant from the start, the day that it goes live. We utilize several different providers that are integrated within the platform, which is all encompassing within the quote that we provided to you all. We have one that monitors ADA compliance continuously, utilizing AI. So from that day forward, I believe it was April 26, 2027 was the day that you all must meet that deadline. That would be taken care of. As far as, let me actually pause because I've spoken a lot. If you guys have any questions for me, please feel free to ask before I proceed.
The only question I have, Christina, is do you have any references where you've done this previously for other municipalities?
Yes, I provided to you, Dr. Johnson, and I provided to you 3 references. I can send those over to you as well before we conclude this call. But yes, there are several examples of municipalities that this platform is been able to inundate themselves into as well.
Yes, sir. It's in the file.
It's in the PDF?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking for it.
Okay.
Oh,
It should have her name, Venture on it.
yeah, I'm looking at it.
Oh.
I don't have any more questions. I think you can continue unless somebody else has something.
Okay. Awesome. So as far as, let me actually, 'cause I want to make sure that I'm addressing everything that you guys kind of covered. Let's kind of hit on price as well. So our year 1 investment was 21.6. Years 2 through 5 are 11.1 per year. So in totality, what that is it's a flat rate. There's no hidden cost. There's no hidden increases as well during the duration of the entire term. Excuse me. Excuse me. Goodness.
11.1.
Sorry about that. Excuse me, you guys. I'm recovering from a cold. So that covers price, and in essence, in trust. I started this company. This is what I relayed to Dr. Johnson. I have having a cybersecurity background. I graduated top of my class, summa cum laude. So the passion has always been there with ensuring that things are modernized, right? My background is also in IT management. So this initially started as far as what I've been able to do with VentureSoul LLC as a labor of love. I've built several other platforms in the realm of compliance, in the realm of CMMC as well. And Sandy Oaks, quite honestly, is exactly the kind of city we built VentureSoul LLC to serve. Small enough that every resident feels the difference. When the government works well, we all know. I checked your site out as far as some of the legacy adaptations that we're working with right now, and I'm really eager to bring that to light, just as far as the vision and what you guys are looking to see accomplished. And I will open the floor up at this time to any questions that you all may have for me.
Looking at your pricing, there's something highlighted in yellow, concierge services, I guess, add-on service optional. So 4.8K, and I guess that's your
Yes.
availability, correct?
Yes, so that is basically after hours. The platform is 24/7. It's 24/7 support regardless. So at any given time, for whatever need you guys may need to have addressed, that will be addressed. That more so is for direct contact with me after hours, because a lot of the times I'll work with individuals or employees that kind of 2 in the morning hit ups, or just making sure that I can get everything inundated and I can communicate directly to the platform for you all so that you're not losing sleep. But that is an optional service, correct?
If we need to update our website, do we have to do it or do you do it? Do we send it to, a ticketing system and say, upload this by 3 p.m. on Friday?
No, that's done directly through me. There's also, if you're looking at the proposal right now, there's also a section I've deviated specifically for pretty much integration and how that would work, as far as how ongoing support would work as well. But my goal and my aim with you all, the sole aim really is just to be nonstop, full stop support, right? Ensuring that any changes or updates, modifications, even training, right, that you all may need, I'm able to provide that to you all. As well as far as the training goes, those are also going to be recorded sessions. So you can, all of any questions or anything that comes up to where you all may need me to do it for you. Yes, you can tap me in, but they're also going to be recorded onto the platform as well. Like if you guys want to learn on your own accord, you can, right? But that's what I'm here to do for you. That's what comes with the service.
How big is Ventured Soul? I mean, how many employees do you have?
I'm a single member LLC, but I have some subcontractors as well, that are a part of the organization.
Gotcha. From the council, floor is open.
But you don't offer a codification package.
No, sir. We currently do not offer codification, but like I mentioned, whatever you guys utilize as an existing provider or who you guys will be selecting moving forward, we are able to go ahead and embed that into the platform as well at no question. And that's also incorporated.
Hey, Christine, just for clarification, so for codification, you guys will end up choosing the vendor, but we would just pay you if we went with you. Is that correct?
Could you repeat the question, please?
So
He said you would choose the vendor for codification, or we choose the vendor, and then y'all integrate.
Yes. So to my knowledge, you guys had already looked at a few vendors. I may have understood that incorrectly, but that is how I understood it in preparation for this meeting. But if you guys would like for me to also vet out a codification vendor, then I can as well do that for you all and be the support in the middleman, basically communicating between you all and them.
Understand.
Okay, yeah, I was under the impression that you would provide the codification also. If I'm mistaken.
No, no worries. I mean, either way is fine. I mean, we can seek them out, or you can. I mean, we'll figure that part out. But as long as you have the ability to integrate with them, that's fine.
Oh, of course, 1,000%. No, that's important. We absolutely have the ability to do just that.
Okay, well then I think if there's no more questions, we will circle back with you once we made a decision.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for your time as well. Go Yankees. And yes, any other questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. And Dr. Johnson, I can also resend to you those examples as well of the sites that we've been able to make live.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Bye-bye. All right, and then I believe there was one more company available, AI?
Yes, sir. I believe Texas AM.
Texas AI? Are you online?
Yes, sir. This is Elliot for Texas AI Consulting. Thank you, council members, for allowing me to present here, and Dr. Johnson for contacting me. Well, a little bit about me. I know it's about 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna try and keep this short.
No rush, no rush.
So I just started this company. I have a lot of experience in software design. Also, building full stack applications like websites and everything like that. Mostly pretty complicated systems with HCA. So I was working for the Methodist system for a while. So I was certified in AI engineering, and so my specialty is AI. So this would be you guys would be the first time that I built a civic website. That said, like Ms. Bennett said, everybody here can build a website. With my expertise being AI, what I'm really proposing is to build the infrastructure, because I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about AI, but it's going really quick, and so there's I'm proposing that more than the ADA compliance is building you the infrastructure that is that bottom layer, so that all the AI components can also be more friendly to the citizens of San Diego too, right? Because a lot of them are going to be using AI in using your services. So that's where my expertise lies. I do have a presentation that I can share with you real quick, and if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go here. Let me know if you see that. And so my company is Texas AI Consulting. And so really what we're looking at here, can you guys see that?
Yes, sir.
Let's see if I'm sharing my whole screen or there we go. So, you know, I did some research, and of course, I have an army of AI agents that do a lot of work for me too. But I also work with subcontractors. So, from what I understand, the city is 76% Hispanic. So, I'm sure there's a lot of Spanish speakers. So, I understand that the website also has to be bilingual. Also, I'm bilingual, as a matter of fact. So we're looking at that deadline and you know, making the website compliant as that's coming up. So that's you know, we can build an alerting system, a tracking system for that too as well. That also has an AI component and that's continuously monitoring that compliance as it rolls out too. So, you know, and to make this short, what I was offering here is a 49,500 fixed cap. I am not looking to pick up a lot of clients this year because this is my first year. So, you know, you guys would have my special attention. And we're neighbors. I'm like 20 minutes away from Sandy Oaks. So for me, it's not just like phone calls, but being there personally and not just talking about, you know, everything that needs to happen with your website, but I'm here for you, you know, with all the questions that you have about AI. Like I said, it's my specialty, and I've built some pretty complex systems for the hospitals that make really important clinical decisions. I mean, they're not a little bit. They're very critical. So we looked at. I was part of teams that looked at real actionable data, building databases, and turning that data into actionable things through AI that you know that were like matter of life and death. So I understand the whole ecosystem from building the database to building the front end and all the compliance stuff and all the AI layers in between. So, you know, I did see that there was a requirement that, hey, there's a single sign-on for everything that happens, including including not just the website, but also the codification and things like that you know, other features that you would need from your application. So I said it's a 49,500 fixed rate where I keep monitoring and you know, maintenance for 3 years at no cost. So, and not only that, but in my research showed that there's a lot of grants happening right now because there's a lot of advances in AI. I know I don't think you guys qualify for the Texas Rural Strong program, but I know there's a lot of Texas or municipality programs that are specific for AI right now, and you know it's a big change, and I would help with you know help you guys with securing those grants. And so I'm gonna kind of stop right there. But along with that, you know, one of my passions is filmmaking. So, you know, I did say to Dr. Johnson that, hey, when you know, along with that, I can do a mini documentary about the city. And so I'll send you samples. So I don't have a civic website to show you, but I will show you samples of applications that I've done. And I definitely can provide the references, and most importantly, I can provide me. So you know, I can go there, I can visit, and like I said, I'm not looking to. This is my first year, so I'm not looking to pick up a lot of contracts because you know I need to really stay focused. So, you know, given the opportunity, I'm going to make sure that you guys get everything that you need.
So just to reiterate, the 49,500 is the website redesign. Would it be the ADA compliance monitoring?
Yes.
Documentation conversion, I'm assuming,
Yes.
right? Okay. And then the codification would be separate.
No
So
codification.
No codification.
right, the codification I would provide basically a connection, and I do have options for that and help you choose. But we can also talk about building it natively, because what we're looking to do here is build it, build something that you don't have to pay ever again. If I said my expertise is AI, and one of my understandings in AI is that right now, we're heading into, like, the tools are getting super awesome right now, and that's why I think you're going to see a lot more changes I mean, it's just everything from entertainment to like how websites are built themselves. And the reason being is because a lot of people are not going to be looking at websites. They're really going to be talking to their AI and asking them questions. And so, about like your city and about, hey, what they can do. So having those plugins so that AI can talk. So that's called GEO, generative, sorry, I just went blank, but GEO is basically the idea that the AI really understands what's happening in your website. And not just a website, but your app. We say website, but really what we're looking to build here is an application. An application where you own the data, where the city owns the data, not like a corporation or anything like that. So it's about the city always keeping that data.
Okay. Are there any questions from the council?
Just like to clarify.
Sure.
Morning, Council. But, just want to confirm that $49,000 does not include a plugin for the codification?
It does.
It does. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
How do you say your name? Eloy?
Elliot. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I thought Elliot.
it's my grandmother. I was born in Puerto Rico, and she was very religious. And in the Bible in Spanish, as Eliud, but in
Eliud.
English, I say Elliot.
All right.
So,
Well,
So is there an annual cost with this, or is it just the 49?
it was just the 49, correct?
yes.
The time you start to up until
The 3 year.
within the first year, you will have paid the 49.
Is that correct? The 49.5 is the kind of the 1 year, like at the end of the year, that's what we all in, and then
So that's how,
it's
and that's
flat
how
at
we,
that.
yeah, that's how we pace it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then again, I would try and help to make sure that, hey, we find grant money to get you that money back too.
All right. Well, Elliot, I don't think we have any questions at this time, so we appreciate you spending a few minutes with us, and we'll have Dr. Johnson circle back once we've made a decision.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a great evening. It's a pleasure meeting everybody.
Same here. All right, everybody that's still online. Time is now 8:09. We're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break. We will circle back. All right, the time is now 8:20. We are in session. Okay, so I think let's do we want to go ahead and we'll start with the agenda item 8C. Do we want to make a decision? Do we want to have a discussion some more on this? Do we want to table it till the next meeting to kind of mull over some details?
I did not have time to read all of the information related to the recommendations, although I do appreciate that summary document.
Is this the three we just listened to?
That is a 3
Pick
weeks.
one.
It's that or Municode
Civic
or
Plus.
Civic Plus.
But the last one we talked to, that, I believe that practice for 5 years, so we talked about 49. Sure, we can get it down a lot less with a year.
Should we,
3-year contract.
with the last gentleman that talked with, Texas AI, with what he brought up, should we, before we like bite the bullet on it, since we got till what, April 27? Can we do some research and see if we can't find some grant money to help us with the, you know what I mean? I can do some looking too, you know, if it helps.
I mean, I think either way, finding grant money wouldn't be a bad idea. I think we do need to start the process of picking somebody to go with. But yeah, we can eventually find a grant, hopefully, to pay for it. But if not, I mean, we just got to budget it, and now we got to come into the cookie jar and just pay for it out of pocket.
So Dr. Johnson, could you summarize why you made the recommendation you did in the summary document that you provided us?
Yes, ma'am. A lot of it was AI generated based off of prices, based off the codification. I was under the understanding that Venture was a entire bundle. Civic Plus is really expensive. If you're looking at $73,000, and an annual fee is $35,000. It's just a lot cheaper. Texas AI, I really like him because we could get him, that's for 5 years, so he's talking about $49,000, but we could get him a lot less. However, those choices are based on bundle package. And then we're looking at, for him, we had Civic Plus, Texas AI.
We had Ventured and Revised was the very first one.
Yes, Revised. Revised was kind of, so that one, I wouldn't have been about because it didn't give me like it didn't give us just the total. It was just like add on without just giving up front, giving us a total price over 3 years. Customers about add-ons.
I think he did right here. Though.
58,000.
He did. He just
he
broke down each of the add-ons because we don't have to select all of them.
Yes.
So I appreciate the breakdown of the add-ons actually.
Yes.
I wanna just say my uninformed opinion, because I know nothing about this stuff. I thought that the revise was a little bit more than what we needed, but because we're not all that fancy. But I thought once we got the prices, that what he promised to do with the codification and everything, codification, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
I thought it was a reasonable price for what he offered. I think it's more than we need, but you know, we can scale it down. The other two that we had this evening, I wasn't real impressed with. And I thought the ones that we had in the other previous meetings were rather expensive.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. And my opinion is that Ventured and Texas AI are just too small. They could be out of business. I don't know anything about their financials, but they could be out of business in a
Right.
year. Revised seems to have been around for a while.
And
Same with Municode and
do we get to keep we do get to keep everything if we quit them, right?
Yeah, that's on the spreadsheet. It says what we do. We just have to transfer it to a different host.
Okay. They
Is
don't
there
own
hosting
it,
it?
we do, right?
Has anybody read through, besides the city administrator, the proposals that he provided to us?
I started saying, one of them was 60-some pages and,
Yeah.
I did look at them, but my thought is to let the administrator and the city secretary absorb some of this and see what fits as far as what they're doing. Because everything that this is going to entail is basically what they're putting into
They'll be using it the most, right?
Yes, and all the women sitting over here to my left is currently doing our web design, so she should have some input as well.
Have you read the two proposals, Alderman Walker?
I've skimmed over them as much as possible. I lean more towards Revise also. But I would need more time to go over them because, like he said, I didn't have a chance to really.
Yeah,
do it
that
in
we
detail.
kind of late. I mean, they're just huge documents, not enough
They're
time
huge
to
documents.
read it. So this document that's recommending someone other than Revised, you're saying that was AI generated and not necessarily your recommendation?
Yeah, no, somebody was, yes. I took all the data, put it into IA, along with the attachments, it gave me a column.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, but also included their separate PowerPoints or their SOWs, statement of work on different pages. So you'll see one for Venture, for everybody of those. So we can compare ourselves by just looking at the Excel sheet.
So I agree with Alderwoman Walker. I'd like some time to actually review in more detail because again, they're really large documents. I need time to digest it. So I would
That a
is that we
motion?
bring it back. No, I don't need a motion, that we not make a decision at this point. And we just leave it as unfinished for next meeting.
I agree.
For the next meeting, can we queue up the original bids that we received, just so we could see sort of apples to apples from Municode, right, and their website design and, E360 or whoever they were?
Mhm.
Because I think we also need to bring those to the table back, just so that way we're looking at not just the 3 that you presented today, but the 5 that we've received the 2 more that we received previously.
Okay, sure.
But they are as well gonna bring us in compliance
Yep.
with the ADA.
And since we're not printing them,
Yeah.
if you could get them out sooner rather than later, just to give us more time to review them, so we're very prepared and hopefully be able to make it.
Yes, Mel?
Okay. Let's go ahead and check on 8D, the enterprise fleet management.
We're gonna discuss it.
Yes, sir.
So I had some specific questions regarding that. So how much money have we spent in the last 2 years to purchase those vehicles that we're currently using?
Well, the only vehicles that we purchased in the last 2 years are the 2 Tahoes, which was $14,000. And
We purchased more than 2 vehicles.
hang on, I'm thinking.
The truck.
Yeah, we purchased the F-250 in 2023. So, yeah, more or less 3 years. I don't think we purchased any more patrol vehicles. We did acquire the big F-250 for the animal control. But that's about it. So we've,
In the last 3 years, so in the last 24 months, we've made a couple of purchase of vehicles during my time on council. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because vehicles should have a 3 to 5 year life expectancy,
Mhm.
because even according to our auditor, even the vehicles that we purchased used, he's counting them as city assets by that amount.
Mhm.
So I was just wondering how much we've spent on them to get them, how much we've spent on them to get them outfitted, the things that we can't reuse, like the wrap. And what is our maintenance costs that making us lean towards the potential of going this route with that huge upfront cost?
yeah, I mean, that's a loaded question that we need a couple of weeks to answer. So to give you some feedback on that, we could always come back to that. But I think what is key to understand in our vehicles is that because they are old, right? Example, the Ford Explorer, the most recent Ford Explorer, right? It's not even the oldest one that we have. Just had a $6,000 service, I believe, for a timing chain and water pump. So, and that's not even our oldest vehicle. Now, do we want to knee-jerk react to that and say we want to invest all this money to get 8 new vehicles? Maybe not. But I mean, especially the old ones, right? The 2012 Impala that they listed for $500 could go out at any time. But
It's they and sending them, taking them down for scrap.
yeah.
If I may, we've in the past, and I've had discussions with the chief about an impound lot. And we put out for contracts for towing and the chief has always had this conception that, if we had an impound lot, I could be impounding vehicles and I could be making money for the police. And we can do this and do that. Well, we have a contract with Texas Towing, which I guess none of us were aware of, that is actually good until August of this year. And so, and they have the capability to impound vehicles for us. And so I'm just wondering, is the chief not aware of that? We could have been doing this all along, and when we haven't been doing it. And so I would just, suggest or just put that out there that if in fact the situation arises where they can impound a vehicle and we generate some funds for the police department, those funds could be used to offset the cost there. Go ahead, Rick.
If I may, I can't answer, see if I can answer for myself, what, and I agree with you. I think Texas Towing came to their own saving at the last minute with that $8,000 check, because if they knew they were going to lose their so-called contract, that we had no idea. At least we didn't have an idea that we were in contract with them. So that money that they gave us is an assumed money that we're thinking that they're being honest and upfront and transparent, saying, look, this is what we owe you. We don't know what the.
Yeah, there hasn't been an
We
audit.
don't know what they've auctioned off.
Right, we don't know what they auctioned off where we have it, but so that's kind of a hard question to answer because we didn't know about that. That was even a possibility of income coming in.
But let's keep it to what we're discussing.
So, to go back to what you're discussing, your projected overlay on the cost of what they presented is already, we've already hit on just repairs at least 1% or 10% of the cost that it would cost us to get that started for the 3 year. And I think it's cost efficient for the city to take that into consideration, that not only the maintenance alone, but we never know. You could get a lemon, with one of the vehicles and we can be stuck, or one of our vehicles are going down. Like these old cars, let's face it, they're just sitting there just going to waste. So, I mean, to already spend 10% of your projected overlay for a program that's going to pay itself off with the equity that you're putting in with, as long as you're going to have the maintenance records, they're going to do all the maintenance for us. They're going to be the ones that are taking the big hit, not really us.
They'll do the maintenance if we pay $60 a month. So here's my concern. So we're already talking about doing a significant tax increase for the citizens to pay for those things we've already done. We have this internet ADA compliance that we have to do this year at a significant cost. So given the amount of money we've spent on vehicles and the vehicles we've acquired in the last couple of years, yes, they need some maintenance and they are taking some of the money. But wouldn't it be prudent for us to wait until next year to consider something like this? Because it's $100,000 up front that we're going to have to ask our citizens to come up with.
We keep looking at all these big ticket items and we don't have the resources to do any of this
We
stuff.
don't, right. But maybe next year. But we're already asking the citizens to pay for a lot right now. The extra people we've hired, the animal control facility, bringing our website up to date. That's just this year. So yes, the vehicles are expensive and you're paying 10% worth of maintenance.
And if we need
But-
one or two vehicles, what's to stop us from just leasing outright from a dealership? But nothing's stopping us from doing that, rather than going through just to have them manage it for us.
I mean, a great idea, just not something we can afford to put on our citizens at this point in time.
They're technically worn out when we buy them, because we buy used vehicles that have done their service life with whoever sold them in the first place. And so we're getting by. We only have, what, 2 patrol officers?
That's the other thing.
We have 6 vehicles, and
That's a good
come on,
point.
let's get real about it.
That's another battle.
I move that we table this item until the next fiscal year.
The guy said he's put something together, what you were asking, 3 and 3, so let's just give him a shot, but we're not real serious this year. I want to hear a different option.
Let's keep it on unfinished business just to see what they send and then we can go from there. All right. And then. Okay, so then we can start our regular agenda now. All right. Let's move on to now 7A, discussing a possible action to appoint Citizen Complaint Review Board members as required by Ordinance 2021-181.
Okay, I brought some of this to the table. I would request that we review 7B first,
Okay,
because it will directly affect.
gotcha. All right, so we will move then to 7B, discussing a possible action on amending Ordinance 2021-181 regarding the Citizen Complaint Review Board and related matters. You have the floor again.
And if you look at 7B, you'll notice that we already have a red line version and a clean version. The reason for doing this is that when I started looking into this and looking into Texas guidelines for a CCRB, and I got with TML, there are a lot of there are a number of areas at least where we may not meet Texas code. We don't necessarily, my understanding anyways, Cassandra might correct me, we don't necessarily have to because we are under the population required. However, their recommendation is that we stick to the guidance that's included in the Texas government code. So there were specific items, and you can see where they've been altered in the ordinance in the red line version. We might go through those. I don't know if we need to go through those or not. You guys tell me. The major issues were complaint handling process, the officer notification, confidentiality and due process, the board authority, and the membership. The major issue with the membership
It's
is
269.
no law enforcement is supposed to be on the committee at all. And we have a law enforcement officer on the committee. No paid employees by the city are supposed to be. We also had one of those. If we have, normally what they have is 5 to 7 citizens appointed to the board, and they choose the chair. They can also do it where we have a chair from council, which currently is myself, that runs the meetings but has no vote. Their only job is to see to it that questions are answered correctly. Everybody gets a voice, everybody gets to vote. Documents are destroyed before they leave the room, no phones are out, basic guideline stuff. If you look at the changes that have been made, some of them are rather significant.
CJ, if I may, if we remove the police officer and the paid employee, I mean, you've seen the level of participation that we've had in other committees. I mean, do we even have anybody that would serve on this committee?
We need to get 2 more.
Do you believe that we could fill those?
I do believe we could fill those.
Okay.
I think some of the problem is that it has not been a true citizen complaint review board. And they're not actually reviewing the complaint, they're reviewing the same information that the police chief had. Did he follow his due process to come to the conclusion that he came to? Did he,
So like if the police officer did the right thing, right? Like,
not the police officer, did the police chief do an internal review?
oh, okay.
We're reviewing
The
police
chief's
chief-
decision.
the chief's decision.
And we should be doing this for every complaint against an officer?
If it's a complaint against the officer that, okay, the police chief makes a review. If there is no appeal, there is no need for it to go to the citizen complaint review board.
Oh, so it's when it's
They
appealed.
do recommend that every complaint against a police officer goes to the citizen complaint review board,
Okay.
every single one.
And this says elected official, so technically that means it could even be the mayor, because the mayor's elected.
As far as
Membership. I'm looking at the membership. You said,
it's changed.
I'm looking at the non-red line version, and it says 1 elected official of the city.
It should not be any elected officials.
Section 3A.
Is that only regarding the chairperson?
No,
Just the-
section 3A still says the board shall be composed of 7 members, which comprise of that's not worded properly, which comprise of.
Yeah, that's not correct. That
Or
hasn't been
resident.
changed.
Yeah, it hasn't been changed because we haven't made a vote on it, because we don't
Correct.
have to change it, is what you just said. But it says 4 residents, 1 police officer, 1 city employee, and 1 elected official.
Right.
So you're saying if we were bigger, then we couldn't have a police officer or a city employee. And then the elected officials shouldn't be on there either if we were a bigger city,
If we
but
were a bigger city, the elected official should not be on there. However, it's kind of a gray area. They can be
as a non-voting member.
as a non-voting member just to run the
Run the
meeting.
meeting.
But there should not be any paid, no paid employees at all. And definitely no police officer.
And that's even at our size, we need to remove the police officer and the employee. It's a gray area.
Yeah, we don't have to because we do not meet that threshold for a city.
What is that
What
threshold?
TML, yeah, I think it's 100,000.
Oh, we're
are you
way
talking
up.
about a civil service city? I don't know what the population is, but Sandy Oaks is well below.
Well
Right,
below it. So we're not even
below
close.
it. The issue is
We're around 5,000, yeah.
they strongly say their opinion, as she put is, Leo should not be on the board. City employees should not be on the board. Consider restricting voting membership to civilians only. Reference the statutory confidentiality and due process protections. Clarify that the board's role is advisory only and cannot impose discipline. State that officers will receive a copy of the signed complaint before any action is taken. And explicitly require all complaints to be in writing and signed.
So if we remove those, the officer and the employee, is there a recommendation that we increase the number of?
They said
citizens?
5 to 7.
So we currently have
So we-
4. So we would,
5 to 7 voting members.
so we would need to improve that, increase that number too. What do you think?
We are missing 2.
Right,
We have-
no, you're not, no. I'm saying right now, this paragraph says 4.
Right.
And you're saying 5 to 7. So my question is, what do you think we should increase that to based on your conversation with TMI
I think we should have it at 5.
at 5? You think 5 would
Yeah.
be good enough?
And right now we have 3. So we would still need 2 more.
Okay,
And then the additional statement was, if there are times when, you do need the police officer's input or somebody from the police department's input on proper handling of a case, actually. Or you do need some input from the city employee for whatever reason might be possible. You call them in. They do not sit through the meeting. They come in or they provide a written statement. And that's it. What was it? There was one other item. They also felt that if we had a CCRB that was totally citizens, that we would have greater involvement. The way it's written right now, yeah, I wouldn't. If I have a complaint against a police officer, I don't want a police officer sitting on the board.
what about having an alderman as a non-voting member? Do you think that would impact citizens' willingness to volunteer?
Isn't
They
that
did
what
not-
it would be? Chairman non-voting?
Well, we have
We have the ability to change it. We
That's
can
why I'm
change it
asking.
Where there is a liaison from the council. They do not recommend the admin handle it because the admin is in charge of tracking the complaint.
You mean the city administrator?
The city administrator. right?
Okay, so you're saying the alderperson, the elected official should be more of a liaison than an actual non-voting member?
It could be either. The liaison, there are 2 roles that a city council member or a elected official could provide. One is as a liaison, and all they do is make sure that everybody's doing what they need to do.
So, but
City administrators can answer any questions. So for instance, if the CCRB is only citizens and they decide they have questions that need to be addressed to somebody, they need more information, that liaison would be the person to say,
Point of contact.
okay, we need to get together on this date to discuss this problem, and we're going to have so-and-so from the police department attend and answer your questions.
So you think it would be better to have the alderman as a liaison and not as a non-voting member?
I think it would be better to have them as a non-voting member, simply because they're right there in the room. They can see to it that all the guidelines
Questions are addressed.
and the questions.
So they would be in the room.
They would be in the room.
So Alderman McNeil, Alderman Crickmer, you've both been participants on this CCRB. What are your thoughts in terms of the elected officials' role?
I've never been, I joined it, but we've never been part of one.
But had you ever actually had to do one, would it have bothered you to have an elected official in the room? Would you have liked them to actually help run things and be the chair? Would you have preferred from a citizen perspective?
I think it would have been good for the way it was set up with the alderman. I agree with not having the police or just conflict of interest type of thing, you know. But I concur with
Better to have the elected official as a liaison and not as a
the only thing
non-voting member?
that I think the non-voting member might work, but like you said with this town, I've been advertising this once a week on Facebook and on Nextdoor, and
Yeah.
I don't get any responses, and I don't think the numbers I put on there, anybody's called.
Background check scares people off.
Yeah, that too. But Alderman Crickmer, you were part of the CCRB. What are your thoughts?
Probably more than a year, and we never had
Never had one.
episode,
See,
but
and I was on it for a couple of years, not as an alderman, as a citizen.
Mhm.
And we did have an alderman. I do not know whether she voted or not, to be honest. I don't know that part
I
of
was
it.
on the first, when it first started, we did have a complaint. A police officer, and we handled the case with no issues with the citizens. I don't think it was ever even, nobody even questioned whether
Right.
You're an alderman, or do you know this policeman personally? Do you deal with him or whatever? It was never brought up.
So do you concur though the alderman would be better served to be a
I don't
liaison?
think-
yeah, I don't think it.
Do you think there's a
You don't
conflict?
think it matters?
Do you believe there would be a conflict for the council member or the council member, being that they can vote on the dismissal of the employee? At the end
They're
of the
not
day?
voting.
They're not
You don't
voting
vote
on
for
that.
dismissal. You're only,
No.
you're only giving your evaluating the.
Well, that-
I mean, like after.
I think-
Right,
You're
but I'm talking about after,
Council member
Right.
as council.
right.
Because
And
you
not-
can't talk about what goes on at the CCRB when you come to executive session to
Right.
discuss firing that person, if that's what the chief's course of
And we
action
had
would be.
multiple meetings where we were
Ah.
discussing
Not that I want to
law
volunteer because I'm a
enforcement
non-voting
officer
member here, but
complaints.
I wonder if that would alleviate some of that conflict there.
Yeah, well, I think if we just do an elected official as the liaison, then they don't have to be there so that they don't have to have the details and worry about crossing that information sharing barrier.
Well, they would still know the brief of the meeting.
Somebody has to run the
They
meeting.
will still know the brief of the meeting. They might not know all they won't have seen the physical videos and body camera footage and read complaints or statements. They wouldn't have gone through that. But they would know what's going on.
But the consensus is basically probably better to have that elected official as a liaison.
I didn't see an issue with the elected official in the room as a non-voting member, assuming they were non-voting. Because we
Okay.
didn't discuss that part of it.
All right, so I want to try and get a motion out of this then,
Yeah.
so that we can move forward.
Wait, first I have a
Let's
question.
Listen to consent.
Alderwoman Walker, you had mentioned all complaints. The way this is written, I think at the time it was adopted, it was to try to create some sort of confidentiality between the department and citizens. So it was regarding complaints from the public only. There have been multiple complaints within the department itself, and those have not come forward to the CCRB. So is your intention to have those complaints addressed by the CCRB as well when they're internal?
Yeah, that's a tougher one.
Because that's not how this is written. I just want to make sure because you said all
Right.
complaints.
Right. I meant all complaints from. the
But if it's
public.
appealed, if it's a complaint, even if it's internal and it's appealed, it should then go to the CCRB. That's the
That would be my
appellate
understanding.
level.
Those are internal issues to be handled by HR, not a board.
Not the citizens review.
And I
The
think
Citizen Review Board?
that's
Even though
why,
it's a complaint against a police officer.
So the elevation would be to take it to the city administrator then. And then if the city administrator can't deal with it, then it would come to the city council as an executive session for internal complaints is your recommendation. But we don't need to capture that in here.
But
No.
that's what we've done in the past.
Okay, well, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
and those have always been handled, at least that I'm aware of with, the due process rights, the confidentiality rights, the written complaint. Here it indicates the past or the current one indicates a sworn complaint, and that was, I mean, a sworn complaint is written, signed, and then also sworn under oath. So if we're removing sworn, it's just written and signed as the government code says, then just, it
Right.
complies with the government code. It's just not sworn to.
Yeah, the officers receive a copy of signed complaint before any action is
Yes.
taken. NDAs, yeah. Confidentiality.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to make a motion and then we can go further back into further discussion if people have any concerns with what I'm about to do. So I move to, you ready, Mayor?
Administrator, not me.
You have to repeat what I say.
Oh, okay.
In the third whereas, add the number 269 to indicate the ordinance number. Then in section 3A,
269.
adjust that to say the board shall be comprised of 7 members, which is comprised of, you need to add the word is in there, 5 residents of the city and 1 non-voting elected official of the city. The rest of the paragraph stays as is.
One non-voting, is that what you said?
1 non-voting elected official of the city. And the rest of the sentence stays the same. Then in paragraph 4A, change that to read two residents serve for 1 year, and then change it to read that so that 3 resident members serve for 1 year. And then, excuse me, no, the second one, I'm sorry. 2 resident members serve for 1 year, and then change that second to 3 to say that 3 resident members serve for 2 years. So we got more of them serving for 2 years from the beginning, if that makes sense. So 2 resident members serve for 1 year and 3 resident members serve for 2 years until such terms are rotated. And paragraph
You got 7 members, 5 citizens and 1 non-elected, so that's only 6.
That's the one I was struggling with, because you said the rest of the paragraph stayed the same.
Oh, yeah, so I missed that change. Composed of 6 members. I'm sorry, you're correct. I apologize, missed that mistake. And then in section 4B, no, we're still going to have the citizens elected chair because it doesn't necessarily have to be the elected official. So we'll leave that as it is. In paragraph 5B3, which is at the top of that, page 4, on the 3rd line, just part of the editing, it missed the removal of the B. So it says, to assist the function of the board is B subject. Remove that B so it says is subject to. Paragraph 6A, change that to whatever the appropriate number is for the majority, which would be 3. And then in,
Well, voting members, so majority of the membership of the board would be 3 voting members, since the alderman is
Oh, yes, so it needs to say majority of the voting membership of the board, i.e. 3. And then in section 8B, change that to at least 3 voting members of the board. I believe that's all the places where the numbers are mentioned. Thanks for catching that number thing.
All right, I found the typos there.
Oh, wait, we're gonna add on to
90.
on section 8D. We need to change signed by the complaint to signed by the complainant.
Yeah. Minor.
And then for section 5A, same thing. Are the city sworn, it says complaint or statement compliant.
Oh, no, that's
No.
sorry. I was thinking it was complaint.
Yeah, it
That's
does say
correct.
compliant. That was correct. Never mind. That's what I was trying to figure out. What's wrong? I missed that complaint.
We don't need a second reading.
You- Oh, and to waive the second reading of the, It's not a safety issue.
Typo, make sure we got all the errors out.
All right, I got a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Alderwoman CJ Walker.
The purpose
All
of the
right.
second reading is to give the citizens an opportunity to comment. We should be catching all of the typos before the first reading.
All right, so I do
Just
have,
reading more.
I do have a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderwoman CJ to make the changes to the ordinance as she originally intended or as she presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, that motion carries.
We need to publish it.
Yeah, it'll get, it doesn't need to be published in the Wilson County News because there's no, it only is required to be published if there's fines or fees associated with it, and this one has no fines or fees. It just needs to be posted on the city website.
I'm learning.
That's in Texas code too. You can always tell which ones need to be published because the city attorney puts that in like the very end of the ordinance. She'll say it will be published as required by, and the chief cites this section.
All right, so since we've gotten that done,
Yes. Yep. And go straight into one, no, it should say one non-voting elected official.
That'll do.
do we need a motion to adopt it as amended?
Yes. No, I just said to make those changes and waive the second reading.
All right.
I move to adopt ordinance. I'm assuming the number is going to be 2026-270. 269 is already done. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, amending ordinance 2021-181 as amended and waiving the second reading.
All right, so I have a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderwoman CJ Walker to adopt ordinance number 2026-270, amending ordinance number 2021-181 and waiving the second reading. Adopt 2026-270 as amended. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Right. Okay, so now that we've finished that one, let's move back up the ladder and discuss under possible action to appoint citizen complaint review board members.
Now need 5. How many?
3.
We have 2 now, so we need,
No, we have 3 now.
we have 3. So we need 2 more.
We just need to make sure they are
Background check.
Citizens.
that they are still interested. What just suddenly struck me is if we're going to have a plant liaison or an elected person, Do we do that at this meeting or do we do that at the next meeting?
So the ordinance itself states in May, so it's currently you. So if we're going to change that, we would need to do that in May because the ordinance states that specifically in one
Yes, it does.
section. So that would
And
be,
there's a reason why.
right. So that would be probably the second meeting in April or the first meeting in May is what I would recommend we do the adjustments to the alderperson.
Or we could state it now to begin May 1st or whatever the day it's supposed to be. I mean, why bring it back up if we don't have to?
Because we got to
It
talk
was
about the
supposed to
citizens
be-
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the first meeting in May was the original intention of the original ordinance.
Mr.
Okay.
Is Mr. Kaufenberger listed? Because he put an application.
I have not seen an application.
Oh, I thought he gave it to you. He just came and handed it to me. Okay,
Nope.
there's one.
Well, you need to give it to
I'll
her.
give it to her. I'll
Yeah,
get
so
it.
she can take a look at it and then she can present it next.
It'd be a good.
He was not on the list at all.
He brought it in, said he was.
Yeah, well, if anyone brings it in, if you can make sure she gets it as the older people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's other things they need to fill out. And sign.
But anyway,
Yeah, just give her the information and let her run with it and she can bring it to us at the next meeting if appropriate. But I guess this just stays under unfinished.
Yeah. Okay. So then before we leave it, then just think of people, maybe talk to them, go to the community center.
It would be good to have. We have 3, but it would be, but Mr. Coffenjaffer is an option. And it would be good to have an extra,
A few options, yeah.
a couple of extra options if we could.
Okay. So work your contacts, see if you can find somebody. All right, so then move on, discussing our possible action on potential expansion of extraterritorial jurisdiction. And then an annexation of the Oaks at Waterwoods, including status update and developer negotiations and strategy for moving forward. Dr. Johnson, you do have the floor.
Yes, sir. So Mrs. Garcia, her brother and I, we have a great report. However, there's no police at this time.
Not new business. Because we didn't talk about it the last meeting.
Okay, let's get information to bring back to you.
All right, well, the no updates, so we will move on from there. All right, discussing a possible action on a pay rate increase for patrol officer. Oh, that's a part of the executive session, right? But let's skip that one for now. 8B, discussing a possible action on an ordinance establishing child safety zones, prohibiting sex offenders from going in, on, or within child safety zones and establishing regulations regarding residency of sex offenders and providing for affirmative defensive penalties and other matters related thereunto. Dr. Johnson, you are listed as the liaison for this one. Do you want to take it?
Yeah, we have Ms. Everett.
I'll go ahead and take this one.
Okay.
So Mayor and council members, so CC United before, actually CC has done a bunch of legwork on trying to get these sex offenders and they're where they can be, where they can't be. We were able to find some city ordinances from San Antonio what they're implementing, including parks and bus stops in certain areas in town. And what we've learned is that we would like to add this ordinance and have them not be able to reside within 1,000 feet of these areas. And if they are, then I think the city ordinances would assist us in citing them or warning them first and then citing them for being in violation of the city ordinance. As far as where they can be and where they can't reside.
So this ordinance doesn't require that you give them a warning the first time. That
No,
you do have the option.
Yeah, I do have the option to go
It's
ahead and
just
say
like
that. It's because we have just an fluctuation of registered sex offenders deciding to think this is paradise and
Yeah.
you know, here we don't have any schools here. So we want to try to take control of that as soon as possible. We found this is one of the methods that San Antonio PD has implemented in their city ordinances and they've been successful in this program.
So I don't know whether you can answer this or whether city attorney would need to. Would this ordinance allow us to prevent sex offenders from going to National Night Out or the trunk or treat event at the shops?
It really depends on their conditions of whatever it is. Well, conditions.
So they're not considered the child safety zone then, that if we do that event over at the shop?
It would have to be somewhere where it's zoned. If we zone it as it would have to be like an arcade, somewhere where the kids are.
Okay, I didn't think it was captured under this. I just wanted to ask because we do have a couple events we do over at the Oaks, the shops at Waterwood.
Well, but I mean, it says other facility that regularly holds events primarily for children. I mean, that's National Night Out.
I mean,
City attorney.
So a general law city has specific, I mean, there's specific regulations that the general law city can adopt. The San Antonio's home rule, they have a lot more flexibility of where they can prohibit sex offenders from going. This is based on the statute that gives Sandy Oaks the authority, and so that's why there's very specific places listed. Things like CC had asked me about bus stops, and gatherings like that. There is just the word premises where, as the mayor pointed out, children generally gather, and at those times that may be something that where they can be cited. But if they're at a bus stop at 12 o'clock and there's no buses going by, that may not be within this ordinance. But if it's at a time where school buses are picking up and dropping off, then it could fall within that area.
So if it's a trunk or treat event and they decide that's the time they're going to go to the shops and hang out, then we
That
decide
could
then.
be, yes.
But if they did it any other day,
I think that may be a gray area if it was challenged, but I think it's a gathering of children at a process, so that.
okay. Because I know that was a concern in the past.
So how would we handle it? We don't have, the bus stops change
Yeah.
frequently. Like week to week.
I think the school district may have authority to regulate the bus stops. I'm not understanding the change though, like.
Why don't they change week to week?
I don't think so. I don't.
Because if there's only one child on the bus,
Oh,
instead of dropping them off at the farthest corner from their house, they might drop them off in front of their house if they're going by it. That has happened.
Yeah, specifically like on Priest Road, right? They'll do one by one because it's not a.
And New Mathis,
Yeah.
picking them up at 6:30 in the morning. There's a couple of kids that cannot get there.
Yeah, but
For
they're
physical
getting on the bus right in
physical
front of their house, and I just don't think it's as important to regulate that as it is a gathering where the children are gathering.
No, my
So,
question was.
and that would be
can we
covered under
just-
what she said.
Do we just say, because doesn't it mention bus stops in here? Specific bus stop.
Under the definitions, it says a child safety zone. The term includes a school, daycare, playground, public or private use center, swimming pools, video arcade, or other facility that regularly holds events primarily for children. At least in this part, right? It doesn't say anything about a bus stop.
Does it clearly enough define anywhere where children gather? I guess. is
Yeah,
my
but
question.
I think what our city attorney mentioned is that while it may not clearly define it, I don't think we have the ability to clearly define it because we're a general law city.
That's how the statute
Oh,
defines it.
I see
So,
what you're saying.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the exact definition. Child safety zone means a premises where children commonly gather. That's the more broad definition, and then it goes into more specific things like school daycares, arcades.
So we can give them a ticket, right? Let's just say we give them a ticket for hanging out at this bus stop. They may still decide to dispute it and it just has to go to court, right?
Because we've had that, haven't we? We've also had people follow kids for safety from the bus stop.
Well, I mean, I think it has to be this general and then we'll just have to fight every one of them.
Developing childcare stats in the city.
Yes.
Yeah. There's one or.
There's some that have
Could
signs
identify
out.
those.
And I think that's gonna be the biggest thing that we probably need to get with our code enforcement is to see where these businesses are at, make sure that they're registered somehow with us, and be able to enforce those things, because they can live within 1,000 feet of those.
Well, I mean, the other part is they're not on our business district, right? So they're operating.
Do they have to be in the business district if it's an in-home, because there's a home occupancy business?
Well, are they registered as that? I mean, that's not the point, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's gonna open a can of worms too.
it is.
Yeah.
It is, and
Let it,
there's all kinds of things
Yeah.
that they should be doing, and if they're not, that's relevant.
yeah,
But we still need to protect the children that they're taking care of.
But you have the tool with this ordinance to identify those places.
Correct. We'll be able to enforce them. We're able to get them identified and be able to cite them within, if they were in violation of the said ordinances. And yes, we should be able to hold.
All right, I move to adopt ordinance number 2026-271, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, establishing child safety zones, prohibiting sex offenders from going in, on, or within child safety zones, and establishing regulations regarding residencies of sex offenders, penalties, and other matters related thereto.
Second. Did you say 261 or 271?
271.
271. All right, I have a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderman McNeil to adopt ordinance number 2026-271, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, establishing child safety zones, prohibiting sex offenders from going in, on, or within child safety zones, and establishing regulations regarding residency of sex offenders, penalties, and thereto, and other matters related thereto. Is there any other discussion on this item? If there is not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, that motion carries.
And of note, this one does need to be published, but doesn't need a second reading because it's related to safety.
All right, let's see here.
Keeping us on it.
All
I
right.
just want to get this one out there.
Discuss moving on to E, discuss and or possible action on the purchase of 3 additional E-Force mobile licenses for code enforcement and animal control for electronic citation issuance, requiring a one-time expenditure of $44.85 and an annual recurring cost of $670.
Yes, sir. Now that we have a code enforcement officer and it's imperative that he's able to write citations in his vehicle, write stuff and come back here 2.5 a day writing citations. By the way, he's done a great job. And we also have the animal control technicians who do the same, animal control officers who do the same. They will go out in the morning times, come back here to write those up, but getting them these. And also we have Jeremy that uses eForce as well. So this is getting 3 additional user licensing. So all of them can have tablets or laptop with eForce to be mobile. Essentially.
They won't need any hardware to go with this. This is just a software purchase and then software licensing.
Yeah, ma'am. So we, I get with Chief, my understanding, we have Wi-Fi's, Wi-Fi's that can be put in each vehicle and that would run their machine.
What machine will they be using? Because-
Yes, that's what I'm asking, hardware.
So we have, Control has a tablet already, we're looking at, and then we have, George. He has a laptop computer, which he just take it.
And then
What about,
Cassandra, they can share their tablet, if not,
are there logins, right? There's logins, right?
yeah, there.
Yeah, there's logins of them specific. They get their own. Well, provide them their first password to get on, they're able to be asked promptly to change it before entering.
Yeah.
Like, the individual password. They shouldn't be sharing.
Right.
Their password.
okay, so they have to have their own login,
Oh, you
But
use
the-
your name.
but then they'll just share the same electronic.
Yes, ma'am.
What if one's running to Austin to deliver pets and they take the laptop with them? Now they can't. Well, I guess they could jump on anything, right? They could do it inside their office.
So eForce have to be web-based.
Okay.
So if they were able. And have, I think with the CJIS audit that we just learned, it's going to have the multi.
Multi-path authentication.
Authentication.
That one, to get on, then I think it would be hard, right? For that.
Well, our Mayor Pro Tem and our Alderman Kirkland are not using their tablets. Could we repurpose one of those, or could we, like, something like that would be
Absolutely, I'll take it off the chance.
I'd be happy to turn mine in.
It was just an example,
I'm
right?
not
Like,
kidding.
we could use
I
a
would-
basic
I'm not
tablet,
gonna
right?
use it.
Let's find out first, but I mean, that's an investment of $500 and it,
Just waiting for it to get unlocked so I can actually use it.
to read documents? It's locked.
Yeah, it's locked.
Okay.
I can show
Anyways,
you how
yeah.
it's locked, but it makes it too painful to use.
Gotcha. All right,
Much
so I
more
mean,
efficient
so
on this
the,
whole-
so the point is though that it could be a basic tablet, right?
Yes, sir, it could be anything that's.
That's web-based.
Yeah,
Okay.
it should be anything that's web-based that can have, or it could be a laptop. I don't know if it's iOS friendly though.
You do it on a cell phone?
You can,
Oh.
I just don't know what, as long as you have, as
they
long as
can
it's a
say
city,
city
it's a city iPhone, and then they had that authorization codes and those programs, they can, you do it web-based from there.
Yeah, because I mean, the city phones have MFA, right? So I guess just find out, right? And then we'll have to bring it back. If there's any additional hardware that we need to purchase.
We would like, I mean, we would purchase things that be for the patrol officers where they can use their swipes and that would be so much easier. They have those machines that connect to the E4s, you walk up to them, here's your citations, please sign here, and it's all electronic, it goes on.
Yeah, it would be better to
But,
that.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't want to step on any more toes that already have to.
No, but I mean, that's something that y'all need to figure out, like, what do you need to be efficient?
I think.
We'll present it, right? Like, come to me with a quote, right? Of these are the ticket writers that we need, the officers can walk up to the car. And then let's talk about it, right?
How that. done.
So,
But for this
but for
here,
this,
we
right
can do it with the equipment we currently have, maybe even do it on their cell phone
Yeah.
if we just willing to pay.
just pay the
The
license.
annual this is just a once a year cost for these
There's-
three.
Yeah.
Is this
And then-
cost prorated for the remainder of this year, or is it for 1 year beginning the time we pay for that?
That's a great question. I'm not too sure about that. I'm pretty sure because right now, myself and the city manager have been battling with E-Force. We get a little break on it. There's been an unhappy service with them, for some things that we've been battling. So we may be able to get them to come down on the cost or at least, help us out. They seem to be willing to.
Annual
So
license and support for a year too. Oh, so this indicates that this is the second year we have to pay the $670, but for the first year, does that mean
I believe it was a
the
total
license
cost.
is included in the 4,500?
That's for three of them, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
4,500 for three of them, because this says the $670 a year is for the starting in the second year.
Yeah, that would make sense if it was.
There's no discussion. I've moved to approve the purchase of 3 additional E-Force mobile licenses for code enforcement and animal control officers for each citation issuance requiring a one-time expenditure of $4,485 and annual recurring cost of $670.
From what budget?
Would just like to know what
From what budget?
whose budget is this? It's coming out of police department. That's money's for this. Again, I keep going back and keep spending money that we don't have.
The police department have it in their budget.
Whose budget?
Hey, we're just operating like the US government, man. That's all we're doing. I mean, take it from their training, right? I think from both sides of it. I think that's the best place to take it from, part of it's gotta come from, we gotta figure out the divide on it, right? But I mean, 2/3 of it has to come from animal control training and 1/3 of it has to come from police.
Yeah, but animal control's under police department. too.
Yeah, but they have their own budget. for
They
training.
have their own
And I
budget.
seconded it.
But
Right, but you can have discussion after the motion. That puts it on the
Oh,
table. You're supposed to do the motions before
You
you start
seconded it?
discussion.
Mhm.
Yeah, he seconded it.
that
He
sounds
did
funny.
it. Yeah.
All right, so then, all
I mean,
right,
I don't doubt they need it. I just don't know.
Robert's rules of order says you make the motion and then you discuss.
it's gotta come
We
from,
do it
Never
backwards.
heard that.
Then Robert's
police
rules of order.
is 1/3 of
I
it
got it
and
put
then
down.
Well, that's
Just
why
animal
I'm
control is
here.
2/3, right? Cause they're the two of the
Mr.
three
Earl
that
is
need.
gone.
They have it in the budget.
He gave up trying to get sketch to it.
And if they don't, then we'll just have to make an amendment. It is what it is.
Is it in the police budget?
So
Do we
we're
have
amending the
money in
motion to
police
indicate
budget?
which budget it's coming out of.
All right, so I have a motion by Alderman McNeil and a second by Alderman Crickmer to approve the purchase of a one-time expenditure of $44.85 and an annual recurring cost of $670 for the purchase of 3 additional E-Force mobile licenses with 1/3 of the total amount coming.
Wait, before you say that, I didn't hear these two make that motion and second that. You're adding that on there yourself.
Do you want to make that motion?
Yeah.
Because they need to amend that motion. I'm just saying,
Amend the
we need to
motion.
make sure that they agree.
Just amend the motion to,
Third from animal
The mayor
control
can
and
do
2/3
How
from,
did we
Backwards.
amend it?
What? Listen,
2/3 from animal control. Okay. I amend the motion. I need to repeat the total.
no, just amend your part.
I'd like to amend the motion that the funding will come 2/3 from animal control and 1/3 from police department training funds, right?
All right, so now I have a motion from Alderman McNeil and a second from Alderman Crickmer to authorize the purchase of a one-time expenditure of $44.85, an annual recurring cost of $670 for 3 additional E-Force mobile licenses, 1/3 coming from the police department budget, training budget, and 2/3 coming from the animal control training budget. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
All those opposed. All right. Let's move along. Discuss under possible action on amending. I lost it. Discuss under possible action on amending ordinance number 2020-166 to clarify regulations regarding food trucks and commercial operations in residential areas. You're good.
I don't know, no.
You know, yeah, you do. You know a lot about food trucks.
I can tell you where the tortillas are made. I can tell you the grease in bed.
Right?
We'll shut up. You wanna go first?
So this one on the amendment
Yeah.
for the on the amendment for the food truck piece, you know, I was going over it and it's got in the definitions, it lists residential area and item 11 under definitions. It has residential area, or residential property listed there as a definition, but there's nowhere in the, unless I'm overlooking it. I'm
It's
not-
in the master plan.
No, I understand the master plan piece. I don't see it referenced in here saying you can't have a food truck on your property.
It does say you have to be in compliance with the master plan.
Oh, is that, so that's what it does? Okay. But that was my big thing, because food trucks popping up, you know, next to people's, in residential properties, next to citizens, you know, and the things that come along with it, rats, increased traffic.
So
Fiction.
if you look at specifically section M, paragraph 5, approved and prohibited areas, a vending license issued permit to this ordinance is valid only in a commercial area on commercial property or in public places of the city of Sandy Oaks.
Where's that?
M5. You're supposed to be giving monthly reports
Okay.
and conducting the business of vending in any way contrary to the provisions of this ordinance.
Yeah, I was just trying to clarify where
This is
it's,
166.
Mhm.
where I was kind of want to just kind of clarify where it's readable by the common man or somebody that's got a food
Yep.
truck that says, hey, you can't have a food truck on a residential property.
It doesn't say that. It does say where it's prohibited, but it doesn't say anything about a residential property.
Right.
It says it's valid only in commercial areas. So
But my,
that implies, so maybe there is a way we can add it more specifically as you're asking. There's a reference to the master plan that it has to be in compliance with master plan when I read this.
but would a common citizens be able to read that and be like,
So let's just add a sentence in there saying that food trucks cannot operate on residential properties within the city.
That includes trailers.
Should we say food trucks or should we
That's like a
say
whole
Restaurants.
food trucks, stands?
Food trucks.
Just
No,
to-
it's any kind of commercial, no commercial activities shall be conducted. Would be my recommendation because this ordinance is about commercial activities. It does say, because that's where, because it mentions home. Home occupation is mentioned in here. And that's why I had to go back and read the definition, because I
Yeah.
think that's where it's
for
talking.
me, it's for the benefit of the citizens that may want to run a business in their front yard, you know, if they not that I'm saying they're gonna come read the ordinance, but to clearly define it that, cause even for me, I didn't see it in here, you know what I mean? And I don't think I'm no dummy, but it's like, I think we should have something in there that says you can't do this in residential property.
Just to make it more clear.
Yes, ma'am.
So city attorney Cassandra. Would that be best suited under section M, restrictions applicable to all vendors?
That's what I was looking
I
for,
remember long ago when we had
thinking too.
regulations about people selling food as far as the health standards.
There's a health
Were
certificate
pretty much
required.
Yeah,
Standards
there's a
for the
health
state or the county.
Yeah, there's a county health certificate required if you're gonna sell food.
So
It had,
in that section, 5, at, M5, can we just add a sentence in there that where it's got approved and prohibited areas of city shall prohibit vendors from selling in commercial areas on commercial property and public pay. Right after that sentence, the city shall also prohibit food trucks from operating on residential properties.
I think it should be any business, not just food truck.
Well,
I mean, 'cause then
the
you-
ordinance is,
You got the, sorry. go ahead.
this ordinance is pertaining to food trucks.
right, I agree.
Is it?
Peddlers,
Like
solicitors,
that.
vendors, so, so I would, move that we add a,
This
It's
isn't for
finished.
food trucks. This says for business regulation of peddlers, solicitors and vendors.
Yeah.
okay,
So it should be vendors should not be allowed to operate on residential properties.
So Damalito, right? That's what it's called, I think. So,
Which one?
On Priest.
yeah.
That one's in the crosshairs now. And then this little food truck right here on.
Well, this is about the food truck on New Mathis.
Well, but now it affects that one.
Well, it doesn't, this isn't about any particular one. This is about getting this ordinance so that the citizens don't have to interpret it the way Alderman McNeil had to do it. We're not talking about the food truck yet. That'll come later. Right now, Alderman McNeil is asking that we make this clearer because it wasn't clear to him, which makes sense, which means I move to add to paragraph 5M5 after the second sentence that says, vending will not be allowed in residential areas.
After the second sentence.
After as the second sentence, after the first sentence, because I don't know whether you can,
That's second, the question.
do you consider approved and prohibited areas as the first sentence?
I don't know.
So after the word city of Sandy Oaks, how about we do it that way then?
Let's say it.
Vending is not permitted in residential areas.
I can't sell my snakes out of my house.
As a home occupation.
Yeah, it's
They're exempt.
it's a full-time job.
We can second that.
I did second.
Yeah, I'm just writing it down. All right, so I do have a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderman McNeil to insert after the city of
Sandy Oaks.
city of Sandy Oaks, vending is prohibited in residential areas. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
All right, is there any discussion?
And how, second reading or?
But I have
Could be,
something to it.
Okay, well, hold on, let me take a vote on that.
Do that one.
All right, so on this motion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Alright,
Alright,
All those opposed? All right, what was your other question?
I know we have one that we were going to address. I just wanted to somewhere in here talk about the limited number of days within a month possibly that you can operate. Rather than you have a permit. I know a permit was issued for a year in one instance and they can operate every day. It's pretty much a business. Again, I've had discussions with the owner of the barbecue restaurant, who feels that these businesses are hurting his business. I think we're not helping him by allowing
I don't think.
So you're talking about adding something to paragraph M2.
you
M2 talks about hours of operation.
Right. Hours of operation, possibly, days. I mean, we giving them, we let them operate, between from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., but we don't talk about how many days they can operate.
And the
Within-
8 to 8
within the
doesn't
permit,
apply to,
although we issue a permit, we issued a permit for an annual permit was $1,800 for that operation on New Mathis.
I don't think we can constrict the business. I mean, they can
Yeah,
operate.
but that's a food truck, or these are food truck permits.
Yeah,
Right, so if we issue a permit for a food truck and we say, okay, you can have a food truck and you can get an annual permit, but you can only operate on weekends, or you can't operate, Monday through Friday. You can only operate,
the 8 to 8 limitation doesn't apply to food trucks.
I mean, that's,
There's, there's money.
it says, except for vending of food or drinks from a motor vehicle. So, I mean, what are we doing there? What is this?
Commercial
what is it referring
enterprise
to?
where
It's referring
city's not
to
getting
the
it
situation. of
there.
Priest Road.
Unaccounted money.
Isn't that what a food truck is? Isn't that vending of food or trucks from a motor vehicle?
Except for vending.
Except for those, you're limited to 8 to 8.
I mean, what-
so you're saying, so like the shops, right?
It says, yeah, so the
The
shop,
taqueria can only work 8 to 8.
except for vending of food or drinks from a motor vehicle or non-stationary means within construction, manufactured or similar areas in the manner specified in subsection 8, vendors shall be allowed to engage in business of vending only between the hours of 8 to 8. So it says, except for these, you can engage only between those hours.
That's like if the gate up.
So
That doesn't make
the
sense.
smoke shop can only work 8 to 8. Is that what it's saying, right?
That's.
I would leave that to the attorney to interpret, but that's kind of how I interpret it. But again, as Mr. McNeil pointed out, not everything in this ordinance is written clearly enough for the common citizen to understand.
And I think what Alderman Jimbley's talking about though is maybe to take the exception piece out and then add
Right.
something
It
specific.
should
for
be,
that.
this should really be relating to
Food trucks.
food trucks. I mean, this is, if you read that, you're talking about, the restaurant, the barbecue restaurant, the
The snack shop,
the snack
they can only
shop.
work 8 to 8. That's what they say.
shop.
Yeah, this says that businesses can only operate 8 to 8, but how many people need to grab something
how-
for breakfast on their way to work
Yeah,
at
I don't-
5 in the morning?
I don't necessarily agree. I mean, how can we regulate their business hours? I mean, it's not like we're,
Well, I know.
Well, if they're not in a residential area, then I don't think it's an issue to regulate their hours. They're gonna have to be in the commercial district. If we're forcing them out of the residential area.
Doesn't.
So why is this there?
Why is it there?
If it doesn't pertain to food trucks,
Because this ordinance is for vending. I don't know. Cassandra, can you interpret M2 for us, please? Because I'm confused by it now that I'm reading it over and over.
So I know I've worked on amending this ordinance. I didn't prepare the original one, so I don't know what the intent was behind that at the time. Let me see. But for the first sentence, I agree with what you said. It's applies to all other vendors within the city who need a vending license other than those selling food.
From a vehicle.
Yes.
So what do you want it, what do we want it to say?
And I think it looks like, well, but it doesn't apply based on the definition to all businesses. It's only stand, motor vehicle, tent, more of a temporary structure.
And then there's a whole comment about within construction, manufacturing or similar areas.
That's the gate dump truck that mobiles by to get people at break and lunch in a construction site. That's what that's referring to. I don't think we even have that here.
Yeah, I don't know that the exception makes sense in these paragraphs.
it doesn't.
And does it really make sense to limit the hours to 8 to 8? Because some people want to grab a cup of coffee, a breakfast burrito or something before 8 a.m. Why?
Yeah, I don't think so either.
or they're coming home at midnight and want a taco. I mean,
But this was probably copied from another city, you know what I mean?
That's what we need.
I just don't understand how we regulate free trade and limit their hours, right? If they wanna be open 24 hours, hey, if they can sustain it, let them do it.
But that's something, well, how and where are you gonna allow that?
But only in
You know,
commercial
like
districts.
Commercial areas, right? Like that's, yeah,
So
you
if
can't
we're
do it at
kicking
your house, right?
Where if we kick them out of the residential areas and say you can't be there, then I don't see a problem with allowing them to do it whenever they want.
Yeah.
For however long, whatever days they want, but only in the commercial
Yeah.
district. But then that brings up the light commercial district. Because light commercial is all down Priest Road.
Yeah, it's,
Right.
I have a big issue with that.
So now it's allowed in the light commercial area. Can you do a food truck in a light commercial? What is definition of light commercial?
Office space, I think is what it.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
office
what it
space,
says.
so you can't do a
Office
food truck
space.
or a restaurant in light
Yeah,
commercial.
because you would need a specific septic system and.
But is that?
But not with a food
defined
truck.
Clear enough for the city?
So you can't run a restaurant because of the septic you need, because you gotta have public restrooms, you gotta have a kitchen sink. But you can do a food truck because it's all self-contained. Hopefully the bathrooms.
So I would think we would, remove except and put including the vending. Remove except for,
Why not remove the whole
insert-
sentence?
I think we can remove all of it.
Why not just remove the whole
The
sentence?
paragraph two.
well, I mean, you're, at least you're regulating the hours. I mean,
Yeah,
But-
I
but-
mean, why
but
not
again,
just
if
do?
they're, if they're at the
Vendors
shop, if they have a
shall be
restaurant at the
allowed.
shops, they should be able to open 24 hours a day if they want.
Right.
But they're not part of this
Yeah.
because that's commercial.
Why are they not part of
I
this?
I don't,
Aren't
I
they
don't, I
vending?
disagree, because this is for commercial.
Would the shops be included in this, Cassandra? Because this is
No, I didn't- I
for
don't-
vending.
yeah,
this is
I
peddlers,
don't think so.
solicitors.
So that doesn't include, this is only,
This is only for more temporary people selling out of a
mobile device.
more mobile.
And that's,
structure.
that's indicated by the title of this ordinance
So why don't we
Also
make
the
it like,
definition of.
and the
Box
definition,
amendment.
okay. So it's only applying to those and not,
Because if-
not people in a brick and mortar
Um,
building.
Yeah, if in fact they end up using Priest Road, people start doing that on Priest Road, and you got them 5 a.m. to midnight.
no,
They end up,
5 PM the minute, like.
they end up
evenings.
next door to Alderman Kirk.
Oh, to
or
me,
something.
yeah,
Then nobody
Playing
gets
music.
near me.
yeah.
They know better.
But then it also could apply to somebody who has a stand within the business, so if Dollar General allows somebody to have a stand in there, it needs,
In their
it
parking
does
lot.
apply.
Yeah, so the first definition defines what it is in section B. So it does only apply to mobile or temporary type vending. So the brick and mortar buildings wouldn't be
Yeah, it doesn't affect
affected
it.
by the 8 to 8 hours. So we're only
Yeah.
talking about those that are vending as you're trying to get after, which is why it would make sense, in my opinion, and I'll let you consider since you're the one talking about this, removing all the way up to that comma in paragraph M. So it just talks about vendors shall be allowed to engage in business of vending only between the hours. And then modify for whatever day limitations you want to put on there as well.
Let's just say days of hours of sunlight.
Huh?
Wouldn't that work?
Should the, maybe like, you know how
Really limits hours and.
further down in the paragraph, it says when temporary vending permits are issued for special events, or was it? Maybe, you know, take the except out, but put something that defines what it is, so it's not, like you were saying, y'all thought it was gonna be affect the shops and Valero and the taqueria and all that. Should we put some verbiage in there?
It's defined in
Is
the
it?
first definition talks about what the vendors are defined at. In
Okay.
section B, that's what the city attorney just pointed out to me. So,
Okay,
but and the special events is like when we have vendors come out for the
Yeah.
National Night Out and stuff like that.
Okay.
Or the
but they still have to get a temporary vending permit, sounds like, huh?
I don't know, that'd be a question for the mayor.
Should.
Right, yeah. that'd be a problem.
Cause there was one this weekend at a garage.
It's an
sale.
itinerant vendor.
So if they had a permit, did they have a
Itinerant
permit?
vendor.
We don't know.
So just to read their definition, peddler, solicitor, and vendor shall mean any person, firm, or corporation, whether as owner, agent, consignee, or employee, whether a resident of the city or not, who engages in business of selling or offering food, beverages, goods, services, wares, and merchandise, or engages in soliciting orders for the sale of goods, services, wares, and merchandise for future delivery, and who in furtherance of such purposes hires, leases, uses, or occupies any stand, motor vehicle, tent from his or her person.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I mean, I think I do like the hours of operation to be switched from, kind of sun up to
Days of
sundown,
sunlight.
right?
But that really limits hours during standard time.
Right. So after,
But is it really safe for them to be operating those type of vending areas after dark?
you see them all over everywhere
I
else. So
Yeah,
There's that one over there by the house bonnet lane by Tom's Burger.
Yeah.
He stays open till late. I remember coming from the rodeo.
Yeah.
He
I
was
mean,
open
there's
for us.
a lot.
Yeah,
What
we
do you
don't
wanna
wanna do that in the dark though, do we? We don't want those people in the dark.
but if it's in a commercial area, we have a
Well,
very
it's well
small
lighted,
commercial area
you
in our
have to-
town.
I think we should move.
It's sweating.
That's sweaty.
No,
Debate
I
this later.
I think Alderman Tremblay wants to modify paragraph M2. I think he's just gonna.
Whatever Mr. Tremblay agrees to.
I would just like to see just to remove the except for and put including. That'd be the only change I would like to see there. That way it includes food trucks.
But if you take off, like she said, like our Mayor Pro Tem said, if you take off the first sentence up to the comma and just says vendors shall be allowed to engage in business of vending only between the hours of 8 to 8, that includes everybody, right? So there's no need for.
And then it eliminates any ambiguity
Yeah.
of what that first
Yeah.
half of that sentence might be trying to
Remove
say
everything from except to.
Except to the
below.
below, to the 8 below.
Okay, live with that.
Do you want to add something about the dates? Are we gonna make a specific move to?
No, it can stay that way, but I would move further to also change the passed and approved and adopted date to the 10th of May. I'd say the 10th of May, because I believe there's a existing permit, annual permit that will expire on May the 5th on a residential property. So that's why I would like to.
Well, we haven't even made a motion to modify and adopt the ordinance yet, so.
Okay, so your motion is to remove everything from except up until the comma after 8 below
In paragraph
in
M2,
paragraph M2. Is that correct?
I'll second it.
All right, so I have a motion from our Alderman Tremblay and a second from our Mayor Pro Tem to remove everything to include except up until the comma after 8 below, capitalizing being vendors. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, that motion carries. What was the other part you were talking about?
So he wants to move to instruct the city attorney to modify the ordinance 2020-166 as just amended and
Approved and adopted.
and then bring it back. Does this one need this one needs a second reading?
With the effect.
Yeah. So, and prepare it to come back for a second reading.
Yeah, I agree.
You can change the adopted date.
We can make the motion of the adopted date at the second reading, but that way we bring it back for a second reading. We can see exactly what the changes look like, give the citizens a chance to take a look at it.
Well,
All right, I don't understand the word Joe said. So
So I move to ask the city attorney
Okay.
to modify ordinance 2020-166 as just amended and bring it back for a second reading after she gets the amendments complete.
second.
all right. So I have a motion from our Mayor Pro Tem and a second from Alderman Crickmer to instruct our city attorney to bring the ordinance back to the next regularly scheduled meeting as amended. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
Not quite what
I mean, it says the same thing. It's to the
Yeah.
point.
The effective date.
We're talking about that at the second reading,
Yeah.
Okay.
because it won't
Yeah,
get signed until
okay.
the second reading, so we can discuss that later. All right,
And- All right.
what's next? I get homework in tonight.
All right, we got G, discuss on a possible action on requesting Success Engineering, Civil Engineering to draft an updated city map for council, mayor and council review prior to publication. Dr. Johnson, you have the floor.
Speaking of homework, Mayor Pro Tem, have homework for you all. All right, so this is what we have based off of permit. We had Jay Swan draft this up. We need to really identify what's going to turn your computers to, I think it's 8G. You can see the current now. Now, before we publish this, and for the public, we need to really outline what's considered, what would be considered commercial zoning. So this is Priest Road. So everything here is Priest Road is considered commercial from the data that we have. This beige here is considered agriculture. However, with BCAD, there's no way we should be mixing these like this.
Okay, but the city attorney said BCAD's not the authoritative source.
Yes, ma'am. Well, like, for example, if we get it, we turn it into a BCAD and,
So you're saying you want to change Priest Road to be
yeah. ma'am. So-
commercial?
Yeah, so for example, if I have a house here on Priest Road, the entire plot there should be commercial, not just half.
Is this what's currently in the master plan or what you're proposing?
This is what I'm proposing. Yes, now based off of data that I got from the computer and as well as the map.
So he's already
So
made the
before we-
adjustments?
Before we make these adjustments, these are not official adjustments.
You
So
can't make
before we-
official adjustments to the master plan without doing the hearings as indicated within the master plan. And the city council will have to vote to do all of that.
Yes, ma'am. So what I'm just suggesting is we get input from the city council and see what modifications we would like before we move forward.
But this item was to discuss on a possible action on requesting Success Engineering to create a draft, not that you've already done it.
Yeah, so that's why I'm confused.
Okay, yes, makes sense, yes. So they did provide a draft, so I am.
Okay,
why-
so we can't discuss the actual draft then, because the agenda item is to discuss getting the city engineer to bring us a draft. So I recommend you bring it back to the next meeting properly worded.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that map at all.
We're not supposed to discuss it. This was just
We're
to,
not-
just to get an update. That's why I was so confused.
All right, moving along, discussing our possible action on issuing cease and desist order or other mitigation procedures. We're gonna pull item H. For further discussion or just pull it, table it? All right, quick. All right, discuss or possible action, agenda item 8I, discuss or possible action on the City of San Diego's Police Department's participation in U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement's ICE 287G program to authorize SOPD officers the authority to perform specified immigration officer functions under ICE's direction, oversight and authorize the city administrator and chief of police to enter into an MOA and letter of interest with ICE. Dr. Johnson or Lieutenant?
I'll be taking. I think this MOU was brought to our attention by City of China Grove, if I'm not mistaken. So City of China Grove was able to get onto a kind of like a grant funded dual commission program where the city is obtaining partial money for the assistance in the ICE program. And not so much as enforcing everything like the federal laws or anything, but assisting in like their status.
Sure, should there be a raid, we would participate.
Or if we came across an investigation, we needed the assistance of immigration services to say, okay, look, his status is not clear. They're able to assist in those manners. In return, I believe, if I understood it correctly, they would be able to pay any overtime that's accumulated. Get come from the city, 100% reimbursed it. And I believe that there is some funding that comes back to the city as part of like a incentive fee to have the officers here cross utilized.
I have a few questions. So, one, Well, we only have 2 patrol officers. Well, 1 patrol officer and sergeant who spend part of her time doing investigations. Based on my reading of this MOA, in addition to not only being able to question folks when you pull them over, it also gives you the ability to bring them in and interrogate them and question as well. So one, we don't even have the manpower to take care of our own business and do our own investigations and do our own patrolling of the streets. How are we going to be able to support this as well? How is this going to impact the relations with the citizens of this town? Because I see, and whether or not I agree with it or not is beside the point, I see the citizens constantly saying, hey, ICE is over here, ICE is over there, go to this website, find out where ICE is at. So how will this impact the relationship between the police department and the citizens of the town? And the third question is, how many officers would you be sending to this training?
So everything that we understand has been virtual training as far as the getting the approval and the acceptance from the cross-utilization from the ICE agent. So it's basically a TFO. It's a task force officer assigned to the DHS. What is beneficial is with us being able to do that, our access to some of their investigation tools is going to be very unique that we won't have with our equipment that we do have now. The other thing is it's beneficial because I believe it helps the city. The city is going to get a portion of that money as a incentive to assist them in their investigations. They're going to be stat driven, basically. If we come across something that is going to be an immigration issue, then we hand it off to proper authorities. The difference is that we're going to have the ability to make the arrest if need be and just transport to their facility.
Will it be money in for the city? Will we come out ahead or will it cost? Do you have any idea?
I believe the incentive is going to put us ahead. The incentive program, I think they're offering, I don't remember the exact number, but they're offering X amount of money to be part of the program and then funding it throughout the year. That it's not, I don't believe it's on the cash. We don't
I
have to cash.
understand they're gonna pay the expenses, correct,
Yes, sir.
incurred by the city?
I just don't see the numbers here. Is that,
So how many people are you going to train?
I think it should be just you and the chief if it's gonna be anybody.
But this is giving them the power and authority to interrogate any alien or person believed to be an alien, the power and authority to arrest without a warrant any alien entering or attempting. The police chief and the lieutenant don't patrol. Why wouldn't it be our officers that are out there patrolling? The power to arrest without warrant. Well,
It would be beneficial for the entire department, the 4 of us to get cross-utilized. And that would only be for the investigative part and for the patrol part. It would be beneficial. Yes, sir.
I saw the chief's name on a couple of pages of the document signed on, so is he in favor of this? Is it his opinion it's a good thing?
I believe it is, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think he briefed the task force last time we were, the last meeting.
I just don't see how we can support this with the manpower, because the chief spent all this time at the last meeting saying how we need more people.
Right.
We need another investigator. We don't have the manpower to do this, but now you guys are wanting to take on all of this additional work?
I think if you're seeing it as additional work, I'm seeing it as an investigative tool to be able to expand our caseload as we have right now.
But he's complained your caseload is too big.
It is huge.
So why do you want to expand it?
I'm saying the tools. With the investigative tools that they're gonna come with, they're gonna be.
Get some more options.
Yeah.
But how much workload comes with those tools? Given that we still only have 1 patrolman, 1 sergeant, 1 lieutenant and a chief.
It's gonna be on a case by case basis. It's not, we're gonna assign somebody to their office. They're gonna be over there. They're gonna be away from the city. Gonna be self-generated stats that are done here, that are committed here.
I'm just to the money side, right? What's the incentive for us participating, right? So I understand they're gonna pay overtime, but you're saying there's based off stats, we're gonna get something in return.
Correct.
Right? Well, where's it at? That's what I wanna see, right? If it's a if it's something that's a benefit for the department, I can understand, but without seeing any of the financials on it, like, I don't have any idea what it make a.
Can take people and send them somewhere else.
I see a big cost to the city based on what this MOA says without any,
Yeah, I didn't write up the
Big-
proposal. I don't know if the city manager wrote up the
Yeah.
proposal. I think, well, we should,
No.
we need some stuff. This just tells me what you all are gonna have to do.
Right.
If you go to this training, you're now gonna have to do all of this stuff.
but as that's saying is those are the potential things that we
Yeah,
that we
but,
have to do. There's
yeah,
nothing that
but
we
if
have
they
to do.
act, they tell you the task force is activated, we need you, get over here now. Does
If-
that
if
not
we're-
mean you
if
gotta
we're-
go?
If we're able to, yes, ma'am.
If we're able to, how do you determine if you're able to? I just think there's too many unknowns here.
Yes, ma'am. And we can look at it. So yes, Chief did sit down with his task force. So it's my understanding as well, it's based off case by case basis. So if we're working another call, if CC's working an investigation, he would stop what she's doing and go help out, kind of grow. But it's not, my understanding is not gonna happen like every day, all day. If we find for example, we stop a truck with, illegals there, we have someone come, another task force help come support us in that case right there. These person get, prosecuted there, after which we will get a certain amount of payoff from that. So I can get Chief, we can talk.
Yeah, I mean, the idea conceptually, I think makes sense, right? But one, we don't see the financial side of it, right? So.
Right,
we
and
can't-
I didn't.
No, and that's fine, and that's
This part
fine.
I did not know, otherwise I would have been prepared for it and had those numbers for you, but as far as being assigned to a TFO or being part of a TFO, I think it benefits the city because the city, anything that we take a part of, if there's assets that we're part of and it get initiated and we're spearheaded or we assisted in, we get to DAG in those programs. Any of the money that's obtained or seized or forfeited, we get a percentage. And that is a beneficial for the city. That is-
Yeah, and the chief's been trying to do that since he got here, was get into some task force where he could get more money for the city. But he also has just been carrying on about how he doesn't have enough manpower, and now he's offering up his limited manpower to go do other things.
I think we're just affording the opportunity of the TFO to come in here to be part of that program.
I'm sure they'll come if you stopped a van full of illegal immigrants and said, hey, come help us out. They'd be here.
We could only assume because they probably won't take them in there. We would have to take them to that special facility, which we would have to get somebody on board, somebody who will be able to take that place. We wouldn't be able just to take it upon what we have. We wouldn't be able to try to
All
expand.
right, so,
And we have the chief here. If you guys have any questions, additional questions.
well, no, so look, Chief, the only question I have is, financially, right? I know Rick was talking about, there's a financial incentive to joining the program. That's the one question. Objectively, I do think it's a good program for the city, for our officers, only because it gives them the tools they need to be successful. It also allows us to make stops, right? And as it is, we see tons of cases with sex trafficking, with drug trafficking, and this gives our officers an opportunity to stop more people. Unfortunately, citizens will be upset about it, and I get it.
Gives
You
them an
know,
opportunity to stop without cause and to do racial profiling.
Negative, sir. We cannot make any kind of traffic stops or any kind of stops without probable cause. That's a negative answer.
so, but now going back to the chief, can you speak to some of the financial incentive that was mentioned earlier, or are we misunderstanding?
So I'm not sure what was mentioned earlier, but this is the way it stands as it goes by the amount of people you have in the department. For example, I'll give you two examples. St. Hedwig is already a member, and so is China Grove. China Grove has all 15 officers on board. That's including reserves officers. They're all members of the task force. So every time that an illegal immigrant is arrested and turned over to ICE, they get $14,000. Ours is going to be much less, probably in the realm of $5,000 to $7,000 per one. This is the thing, and I understand residents might see it negative at the beginning, but the way I look at it is, and they're felony arrests, right? Not misdemeanor arrests. So if we have a felony case, that person's going to get arrested whether they're an illegal immigrant or not. The only difference is we're reporting this to ICE. We're not bound to report anything to any federal agency whatsoever, not Border Patrol, not ICE, not DHS, whenever they're committing state crimes. By being a part of the task force, we will be. And so we'll have to report those felony offenses to ICE. Whether ICE picks them up or not, that's gonna be a completely different issue upon them. But we will receive an incentive for every illegal immigrant that is arrested. That doesn't mean we're gonna go out there, start knocking on doors, trying to find illegal immigrants. That's what I think would bring a negative impact. It's if we come across the illegal immigrants committing felony crimes, which if we come across that, we're gonna arrest them anyway. It's not gonna change what or how we do our job, not one way or the other, right? We're gonna continue to operate the same way. We're just getting a financial incentive for reporting those crimes to ICE.
So this contract doesn't make any indication of a financial incentive, or at least I didn't see one. I mean, what do you have to justify?
I have an email from the ICE director who wants to meet and discuss all of the details. I wanted to bring it up to council before I even make this meeting, and not, if we're not going to be interested or for it, then I don't want to basically waste his time and bring him in, right? But I do have the email that kind of breaks everything down. Everybody would have to attend the training. Everybody would have to become a task force officer, and we would get credentials belonging to ICE as well for an entire year. But we don't go work in the ICE office. It doesn't take us away from our office. It's basically just a financial incentive. It's also a networking, if we need them in the area for anything, if we need their assistance, they're there to provide it, not just them, but other agencies who are a member of that task force already. For example, China Grove is already a member.
So it doesn't stress your workload anymore, right, Chief? So
no, actually it can loosen it a bit, because we'd have people to assist if there's an illegal immigrant involved, right? So I've been a member of the FBI Violent Crimes Task Force for a year, but we had to go to that office and work out of the Corpus Christi office for an entire year, and they removed me from assisting the city of Alice with anything they were doing. On the flip side, this task force does not take any of us away from Sandy Oak to have to go into San Antonio to work.
So it'd be your normal work. You pull somebody over. They got a felony amount of dope on them or something. They're illegal immigrant. It just gets processed different, and the city makes money off of it.
So it doesn't get processed any different. They're going to go to the Bexar County Jail. We're just going to report this incident to ICE, and then ICE will determine what they're going to do with that person, right? So I will tell you, if we arrest an illegal immigrant right now, the sheriff's office is going to report it to ICE either way, and we're not going to get any incentive out of it. If we report it and we're a member of the task force, we then do get something in return.
Sounds positive to me.
But that's not what the MOA says.
That's not what it says.
Yeah, so I think what we need to do
Yeah.
is you need to have that conversation, whether we waste his time or not, to get all the details about it. And then this MOA needs to be updated to reflect that information. Because if we were to sign it today, there's no indication that we would get anything.
Yeah, Chief,
Except a lot of
it's
extra.
not worded, Chief, just so that you know, it's worded, it's like out of bounds, kind of like if you're gonna assign the entire office over there, it's not worded in the way that China Grove has explained it.
Right, and I spoke to the ICE agent in charge about it, and he explained it exactly how China Grove explained it. So I guess I'd have to get him in here and rewrite that, right? So yeah, I can get him in. He's willing to come in at any time. I've already talked to him on the phone, and I have the email which broke it down as well.
Yeah, I think just talk to him, and then if that's the case, then put it in writing, get it with the city attorney, and then let's talk about it. I mean, it doesn't, again, right? I think overall people want to feel safer. I know this may hurt some people that maybe on that border, but if it's for felony stops only, right? That's
Felony crimes, right? Not just stops. If it's a sexual assault of a child.
Again, it's gonna be
Read it much differently than this MOA, Chief.
Right.
So I really think we need a cleaned up MOA
Right.
before we actually vote on this, because as written, it is really, I think, not good for us.
Yeah.
In fact, one of them says, the power and authority to interrogate any alien or person believed to be an alien.
I think those are high standards of what
I know, but it's in our MOA that we're going to sign and say that we're empowering our police department to do this. And I don't think that's good public relations. We need to get it to reflect what the chief just explained.
Yeah. Okay, so then just have that conversation and then let's bring it back with an updated MOU.
Will do.
Alrighty,
Thank you, chief.
thank you, sir. Good
Yes.
night.
Thank you.
Glad you could make it.
All right, so no action
That sounds
taken.
better.
No action taken at this point. We'll bring it up on the next meeting.
Like one of our cases, we have what we believe is a non-citizen who has, he's on the run from us because we need to identify him. And, with our meeting that we're fixing to have in April with them, with the trafficking task force, I'm hoping they come and help us with that because this is one of the people that we can't ID. He's been here, he attacked one of our children from within.
Yeah.
We have
Well,
a
let's
lot
get
of,
a-
we
let's
have
get a
quite a
fix.
few here.
Yeah.
Let's get a good understanding of the MOU. All right. So then the last item right now is agenda item 9A, executive session. Executive session to deliberate on Patrol Officer Andrew Franco's probationary period status and determination of early completion versus standard completion with subsequent master peace officer pay rate implementation pursuant to Government Code Section 551.074. Time is now 10:06. We are in executive session. Are you going to present to that? Okay.
Do I do it right here?
No.
No, we have to go.
So, just make sure y'all are recording over there. Got it?
Yeah. We're back in session yet.
All right, guys, the time is now 10:19. We are back in session. Let's go ahead and address agenda item 8A, discuss and or possible action on a pay rate increase for patrol officer Andrew Franco based on attainment of his master peace officer certification. I think, first of all, I think we should consider removing him off of probation, not parole.
I move to take Officer Franco off of probation.
No second.
All right, I got a motion by the Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderman Crickmer to take Officer Franco off probation. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, that motion carries. And then discuss pay rate.
Move that we give him a pay rate of $26 an hour. Make a motion.
A second.
Effective when?
Next pay period?
Beginning next pay period? All right. So I have a motion from Alderman Crickmer and a second by our Mayor Pro Tem to adjust the pay rate for Officer Franco to $26 effective the next pay period. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that motion carries. One more item, guys.
I move to adjourn.
It is now 10:20. We are adjourned.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
For your homework.
I just want to read it. It's only 1,000.